Oh, it's pretty crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover and just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha. Well, don't quit touching the button. You screw up the button, then it doesn't work.
I just wanted to turn my
Everlevel Concrete.
I had to turn my microphone on. Am I not allowed to do that?
It's just one tap. It doesn't need double tap. Because when you double tap,
one app, one tap.
Let me try it again.
Tap that app.
There you go.
How we
but
feeling?
you are a double tapper guy.
Well,
just stick to the single tap.
Just turn it on.
The button does not need to be bumped twice.
All right.
Just need to be bumped once.
All right. Good.
For somebody that did not host Big Red Overreaction or has already done 4 hours of radio, you're awful cranky. You need to brighten up.
I am cranky.
It's Monday ahead of Ohio State.
Thank you for
There
noticing.
are a lot of people
this is the game.
that are alive right now.
Who are those people? I'm not familiar.
If we die, we die.
I'm not alive. I
Well,
feel
we're
bad.
all going to die along the way.
Your soul is dead.
So, I mean, just while we're here, let's embrace
sucking. Soul sucking.
So Kurt Signetti took the soul out of you.
My soul feels sucked.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about that.
Poll question: does your soul feel sucked?
Put that up there.
What if your name is Soul?
Why are you? That's a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to say.
Well, because
here's the thing.
It's kind of funny.
Here's what happened to me last night. All right, so I'm going to check my fantasy team before I go to bed, and just wanted to see, if Lad McConkey can maybe get me like 80 points tonight or something like that. Getting drubbed in fantasy.
I do.
It's a horrible, horrible weekend. And I check it one more time just to look at it, and there's a little pop up at the bottom of the screen on the Yahoo app, and it's like join fantasy basketball. And I accidentally hit it. I was trying to click on some other stuff. And it immediately put me into a draft. Awesome. And it immediately made me join a league. And you can't leave the league. Did you know that? You can't leave a league.
This is why.
Is this through Yahoo or ESPN?
So all night long, as the fantasy draft is happening, it's sending me notifications and my phone is lighting up. You just picked Victor Wembanyama or whatever.
Oh, congratulations.
I don't think I picked Victor Wembanyama. I don't want to look at my team because I don't like it. I tried to delete it many times this morning, and you can't. You can't leave. This is like the Hotel California.
Who's it?
You cannot leave a fantasy basketball league.
Who's it through?
Yahoo.
Oh, it is Yahoo. Okay.
Yahoo and the Yahoos. And then I go through the drive-thru this morning, and it takes way too long for a place that never takes long. Never takes long. And now it's 10 o'clock, and people decide that it's time to text me.
Okay.
Time to text me. It's 10 o'clock, and here's what happens every week. My fantasy league that I actually enjoy playing in.
Oh, okay. You got the trash talking going on.
They start texting away. They start texting. They say, "Would you like to trade? Would you like to trade? Would you like to trade?" I can't respond to these things.
Yeah.
I am locked in.
And they should know this about you. They should know your hours.
They should. And yet they continue to do it.
Okay. Back to the
understandable.
Back to the store.
This is why I'm mad. And that guy with the big head from the Texas game.
So much hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. The helmet? Oh, that was the hair helmet. Was fantastic.
Up with that? Why was his face so small, but his head so big?
None of it made sense.
It's kind of a combination of the SEC haircut, but then it's poofy. Mm-hmm. Like he got it blow dried.
Yeah.
It was, the helmet head. That's pretty good. It is nice. Thank God for that one.
Yeah.
You got to have the appropriate facial expression with the result on the screen. And I think that really hit it.
5 emails since this show started. 5.
2
of them are from.
Do we have? We did have an incident like last time that you brought up the drive-through that you like going to, and we had the traffic was impeding your progress.
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all.
Scooters was busy this morning.
I didn't go to Scooters. I don't usually stop for coffee. I usually make my own coffee, which I did this morning.
Good on you.
McDonald's.
Mine forgot to go off.
McDonald's
this
a little backed up.
Nope, it was a restaurant that's closed on Sundays. They're usually very quick, and it was not quick.
By the way, did you see the one near our neck of the woods?
Oh yeah,
nobody there.
Amazing,
nobody there.
So they opened up last Thursday, and I drive by, nobody there.
Yeah,
really.
There's people actually sitting out there with the tablets ready to take your order, and there's no line
not a
whatsoever.
single person. I was amazed by this.
Whoa,
this is incredible.
I've never seen that at that place.
Maybe it's because all civilization has abandoned Maple Street, rightfully,
because they know
they know. Yes.
Hell on earth.
This is a terrible, terrible place to be. We can't go here.
And so, unfortunately, the
businesses.
casualties and the collateral damage are the new businesses that are going in there.
Nobody actually lives there anymore. It's
hey,
just
you know
businesses.
What? So I brought that up yesterday. So I was at the Costco, the OG Costco.
Oh,
There are not as many cars in the parking lot at like 12:30 in the afternoon.
Really? Okay.
And I'm like, the new one is taking them away. Thank you.
But if you've gone to that one, we went just 2 weeks ago, and it's still not busy. The Maple one it's great.
It's awesome.
There's just nobody there.
I agree. That's been my experience with the West Maple as well.
That is not like I know going into it that it's going to be a battle going to Costco. Like I'm prepared for anything.
It's a battle. It's bigger.
And it is. Maple one is just
speaking of food,
very
I have
easy.
a
very chill, very cool, very nice.
I have an observation on the weekend. It's not just new, but you know how like on game day, they will feature a local restaurant and they will bring a slew of food to the set.
Big pile of food.
Yep.
And then they just start mowing.
Yep.
Who in their right mind enjoys watching other people eat on TV?
It's a thing that happens on television constantly.
But
I agree with you, Gary. Thank you for this gripe. I don't want to watch the guy with the microphone eat a chicken wing.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
No, it's not fun for me. It's not fun for anybody.
I get nothing out of watching Desmond Howard eat a dessert or.
Now, here's the thing. We have to be careful here.
Sorry.
We got. What was that?
That's my
good
Desmond.
Desmond
My Desmond.
Howard.
Howard.
Oh, okay.
That's all he brings to the set.
Here's the thing. We got to be careful because here's the reason that's happening because they like food. We like food.
We
We like
food.
when people bring us
Yeah.
food. We'll eat the food on the
True.
air.
But I don't expect you to be enthralled by it either.
Yeah,
I'm just going to eat it.
Yeah, we're giving.
Whether
it.
you like it or
this,
not.
I don't know if they
College
expect
World Series
us to
time-ish?
like it either.
No,
we don't eat on air. We get food.
Yeah, we
but
usually-
we're not.
Yeah.
We're not eating.
Usually
while
we'll
we're
eat it
on
during
air.
a commercial break.
Okay, maybe that's you.
I don't know. So I mean, we're more of a TV show now than ever.
True.
Very true. I don't know. I don't enjoy watching other people eat. And I don't either. And I don't know where they say, hey, this is a great idea. Instead of having the chef on or the owner and explain what the food is, they just drop it on the set and then it's just like
They're just like, here you go, I'm gonna eat it.
it's like a cattle call.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever done that though and be like, "Oh, this is terrible"? No, they're always like, "Oh, this is really good." So what do you
It's
get out
always
of it?
good.
Yeah, no one's ever like, "Nope, this is the worst crap I've ever tasted."
It's always
Now,
very, very
Brandon
good.
brings up a good point. He said, so you're not a fan of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? No, I am. But that's a contest.
Yeah,
The exception that proves the
Yeah.
rule.
exactly.
These are just like random people just eating food. Like that's a contest.
Mhm.
That is something I look forward to
Yeah.
on July
Well,
4th.
but
especially when Joey
hot
Chestnut's
dogs,
on.
apple
The
pie, driving
content-
a Ford vehicle or a Chevy
the content
and watching.
is a never-ending ocean of people eating food content. People have made their fortunes off of simply opening up their phones and starting to eat food. It happens all the time.
It does.
It's everywhere.
So I didn't watch the Fox pregame, but Nick told me that Joey Chestnut was on there eating corn.
Yes.
I've heard.
He absolutely smoked the corn.
He did.
Yeah.
He basically, it looked as if he was licking the corn vertically,
Yeah.
and then the kernels disappeared.
I didn't
because
like
he
it.
Essentially, had his teeth grinding down
It was
each
bad
row
omens.
of corn.
It's bad omens. And then John Cougar Mellencamp showed up, and I
Yeah.
knew we were effed.
And Joel McHale
Joel
doing some
McHale.
stuff too.
Joel McHale was on there?
He actually
he's a Husky.
he was the narrator of the big of the lineup on Fox.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, Joel McHale,
I didn't watch
the new mouthpiece of
I didn't watch
Fox's of their lineup for the day. Yeah, he wasn't actually on set. He just did the narrator. So
The superior television show for pregame is College Game Day, and I hate Fox. I hate the Big Ten. I'd like to leave it. Can we go to the SEC? I'd like to go and join that conference. Thank you.
What'd you think of?
Indiana's broken you, haven't they?
Yes.
Did you like Curtis
yes.
Rourke's nickname?
This has ruined my life. This is literally ruined my life.
Did you like Curtis Rourke's nickname?
Oh yeah. What was it?
Cool Kurt.
He was going on that first touchdown. He's like, "You said we
Yeah.
haven't played anybody."
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah. Well, now we have played.
You
somebody.
say all they do is play basketball here? Are you watching this? Oh my God.
Well, they did have a little
He
screw up.
wasn't-
They did have a little screw up at the beginning of the game when he forgot who was actually going to have the football.
Yeah.
We were ready to
well, I can't see.
welcome Dylan in.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Here comes Riola.
Oh, wait. It's cool.
Just kidding. It's Curtis. It's some
Yes.
guy named Curtis.
When your team isn't winning, Gus Johnson is the worst guy in America to be doing that.
And our team is never winning when Gus Johnson's there.
Gary mentioned that was when we were wrapping up, and he's absolutely right. It's just awful when you're the team that's losing and you got to go through Gus Gasms. It's unlistenable. It's awful. And he was at another level on Saturday.
So bad. And I don't know. I'm sure the research has been done somewhere. What's Nebraska's record on Big Noon since Big Noon started? It can't. There's no way they've won a single game.
Well, they've never won with Gus at the mic.
Yeah, we were trying to figure that out.
They've never won with Gus
and
and Mike, but I would imagine that their average margin of loss is about 52 points.
You can figure this out.
They
easily
never
here.
win. They never win, and it's always a disaster.
So what was the first Big Ten COVID game?
2020,
was Big Nude.
Ohio State.
Got smoked 52-17.
That's right.
Next.
Start off with
Nebraska looked on that.
the counter with
they had the two
McCaffrey.
quarterbacks.
McCaffrey had a nice run.
McCaffrey ran that.
2021 Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Got some. Well, that wasn't that bad. 23-16. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
We
Thank you.
go on to
Here come the Huskers.
2022 Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Smoked 49-14.
That's right.
See ya.
Yep.
Nebraska 2023. Oh, that's not Big Noon against Minnesota. Why is that on the Big Noon wiki?
Oh, because they were both doing the game.
yeah,
Gus and Joel Klatt did the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you would like to count that, you may count that.
I will not.
Okay. Colorado, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
Smoked.
Didn't go well.
And then Saturday.
So what happens?
That's it?
Yeah.
No. Nebraska had Ohio State 2021.
Nebraska's 0-6 on Big Noon kickoff.
Yeah. Ohio State 2021.
Oh, Michigan was.
That
Yeah,
a
wasn't
home
one of the
game.
Michigan
Was it
games?
Michigan
I
Big
must
Noon?
have missed
Was
one.
last year
I'm sorry.
Michigan Big Noon?
I think you're right. Actually,
Last year,
was that
Michigan was a 2:30.
That was a 2:30 game.
It was a 2:30 last year.
They all blur.
Yep. They all suck. That's why.
Oh, this Saturday, going to probably add to that record of futility.
I don't know. Maybe
you don't know,
but the expectation is now that you don't lose 64-2 or whatever.
which is
Like, okay, well, maybe you could do that.
those are some
To be
lofty
fair, that
goals
was
there.
62-3.
Maybe they could not lose 64-2.
Maybe they
I like
keep Ohio
64-2.
State under 50.
That's it. You know
Because we know
what?
they're not going to get 3.
Hey,
We know that.
It's either 7 or
2
nothing.
is more likely than 3.
4.
Yeah.
Whole question: which is more likely? Nebraska gets 2 points or 3 points on Saturday.
I would have said 2 before, but now I don't even know if that's possible.
I would love you long time if a bad snap on a Ohio State punt
there
through the end
goes the
zone
snap.
and it's 2-0 in favor of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Take a screenshot. Stop the count.
Then I'd get out. I would just
Special teams
I would
coming
just
up big for the
roll
Big
Chris's
Red.
team off the field. They're up 2-0.
Yeah.
See, this is the difference between Missouri football and Nebraska football. Nebraska's quarterback has to go to the hospital and he comes back and scrubs. Missouri's quarterback goes to the hospital, checks himself out, comes back and plays.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah. Take that. That's right.
Like, can he by himself check himself out of the hospital? They said he checked himself out. He said, "I'm leaving.
He's an
I got to go
adult
back to the game."
reconnaissance.
Hey, he's an adult. I'm good. I feel good.
Does you have to pass a series of tests?
Yeah.
Did you hear the Eric Collins gem from over the weekend?
Disaster! Oh yes.
Oh my goodness!
What a bad idea!
What a bad idea.
Welcome to the Big Ten, Lincoln Riley.
Yep.
I like that they let an insane person do play-by-play.
It sounded like, honestly, a wrestling event. It sounded like a WWE event.
Well,
Here's the chair.
Okay, so if you guys ever heard him doing the Charlotte
my
Hornets,
goodness!
he did the Charlotte Hornets on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah, he's insane.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's so bad.
There was a chair involved in that call right there. Oh, wow.
Not like this, damn it! No! Oh my God! The man's got a family.
What a bad idea!
That is so good. Hmm.
Hey, but at least the people in Los Angeles get the World Series Game 1 Friday night, and then shortly after first pitch,
Go Dodgers.
the Coliseum will host Rutgers.
Oh yeah.
The disgust in the voice of Kevin Burkhardt last night doing the Chiefs game when he announced what time kickoff was for that game.
And don't forget to tune in.
Who would be broadcasting that?
I would think
football
Brando
game?
is probably doing
That
the
does sound like
Rutgers USC game with
Yeah.
Devin Gardner.
Either Brando or
because they become the Big Ten Friday night crew.
yeah, I guess so.
They have to promote that.
That's a good Brando game.
Yeah.
Oh, what, 10 o'clock at night?
Yep.
Central time? 11 o'clock. So Kevin Burkhardt announces it, and there's like a pause in his voice, and 11 o'clock Eastern.
Because he's probably like, am I reading this right?
Let's
So think
I'm gonna
about
go look at the total for that game.
Okay, so
hang with me.
what do you think the attendance will be? Because you do have the World Series is in LA.
Yeah.
USC is now 1-4 in
They
the
suck.
Big Ten. Their season is basically over.
Mhm.
They're playing Rutgers.
Yep.
Locally, it starts at 8 o'clock.
10,000.
38,000.
That probably seems reasonable.
38,000 people.
Did you see this weekend that Stanford? Remember when Harbaugh and David Shaw had Stanford football going?
Yeah, they're the physical Pac-12
I remember
team.
Toby Gerhardt.
They,
I do too.
They
Who
announced
doesn't?
19,000 people
Ooh.
at the Stanford SMU game this weekend.
Nice.
And
ACC.
by the second half, there may be 5,000 people that were in the stands.
It's not great.
So I
Dude.
forgive my ignorance on this. I've never been to the fine city of Los Angeles. I'm reading that those stadiums are 6 miles apart.
Yeah, by mileage.
Coliseum is
yes.
6 miles means nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's still going to take you a good
No,
hour.
sure.
So
and a half.
one
Yeah.
is south of downtown, one is north of downtown.
That's my question is like, this is just going to be traffic Mageddon, right?
And, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unless you use the secret tunnels. Have you heard about the secret tunnels?
No.
I've heard about
No.
these.
I heard there was a Starbucks under there for the celebrities to use their secret tunnels.
Okay.
It's a little tunnel for Teslas, and they
It's the Mary Hart Memorial Tunnel.
A tunnel
That's
for,
what I heard.
a tunnel for Teslas.
That's what I
And now
heard.
there's a Starbucks
That's
for
what I
the
heard.
Teslas.
Rutgers USC total 55.5.
Oh,
I don't know. That seems like an under to me, boys.
well, the Nebraska.
It sounds like a 21 to
Although
So-
that UCLA Rutgers shootout,
yeah.
you never know.
Oh my god.
I think the Nebraska total is still 48.5,
Let's look.
with the line being 25.5.
Holy God. Yeah.
42
So
to
you
7.
can kind of start to do the math.
They're not counting on Nebraska to put a lot of points up on that scoreboard.
But they also aren't counting on like Ohio State to
Win by
go
70.
like 50, 60.
Yeah.
Nebraska
Be a
plus
little rusty coming off of that bye week.
1,600 on the money line.
But you know what the spread?
Ohio
for the-
State total 37.5. Nebraska total 10.5.
Would you take 37-10 on Monday and just call it good?
Great question. Thank you. Let's talk about this. Would you
Context.
sign up for 37-10? Because then you're really getting into the question
Need
of
context here.
how much does it really matter if you have a blowout disaster loss? This past weekend should answer that question nice and tight.
37-10, though, would be an Ohio State cover. So
Yeah, but I don't care. It doesn't look that bad.
After
It's not 48-3.
what if it was 37-3 the entire way, and then all of a sudden there's a garbage touchdown?
If you're telling me that
Sure.
they don't get 50
Okay.
and Nebraska gets more than 7, yes.
Buckeyes lost
I
to
will take
Oregon and had to sit for a week, they're going to be pissed.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but good God, what are we doing?
I'll take it. We suck. It's over.
Good God.
over.
Yeah, you know what?
That's what we're doing.
Remember just a few weeks
How do
ago, Gary, you
How do you
asked
feel?
It's
if
over.
if I gave you 14-13 Nebraska over Rutgers, would you take it? I said, yeah, it's a W. Now you're saying, what if I gave you 37-10? Would you take it? Well, yeah. I mean, it's not an embarrassment. I mean, what the hell are we doing?
Lock that in. Lock that in.
Jeez.
I love that. That sounds awesome. Because the 56-7, I mean, you guys have talked about it 4 hours. There's plenty more time. This is like earth rattling stuff.
Yeah.
This makes you not believe that the ground
You're-
you're standing
yeah.
upon is real.
Yeah. You question
When
everything.
they're
Yeah.
up, but the problem was when they're up 14-0, even though Nebraska cuts the deficit in half, when they're up 14-0, you're thinking, oh God, this doesn't look good. This is just the beginning.
I'll be honest. When it was 7-0 and the ball was in the air on a kickoff,
Oh my
and
God.
Yeah.
it was caught in bounds and then out of bounds
Yep.
at the 1. I'm like,
When you hear the Benny Hill theme
yeah,
song.
God, this is.
Mhm.
He just walked right out.
Yep. Just like, and then kind of look,
could've-
and kind of look.
you know what?
Oh,
And so
I did that.
He didn't speak after the game, I don't believe.
No.
He could have been standing out of bounds and caught the ball, and it still would have been a penalty. I don't know what he was remember when we lost our mind when Cam Taylor-Britt had a safety on a kickoff?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
This is pretty damn close to that same kind of level of what the.
And there were a couple.
But Cam Taylor-Britt's was, wait a minute, you're a veteran guy.
Yeah.
There were a couple plays before that where, and I was just listening on the radio, where there was a real tone behind the words they were saying of what is going on here.
Yep.
And then that happened. And I'm like, okay.
It was a very auspicious way to start. And then just to kind of make things a little bit more appetizing for that whole thought was the fumble on 4th down. The fact that we had a debate if he would have gotten the first down or not is like, it didn't really matter. And then at that point, it's like
the most optimistic of optimists lost all hope the first possession of the second half. When Nebraska goes down the field, down 28-7, and throws an interception, it gets taken back 70 yards, and they almost.
He might as well just score.
He just score. Just stab
don't tackle
me.
the guy. Let him score.
What are you gonna do? Stab me?
Hey, what if I brought this up to Nick earlier because John Hull got a free trip to Bloomington to kick off, and it's like we don't need the kicking net.
No,
okay,
no.
So,
if they're in the 1 minute drill, they're
I know
they're not doing that.
I know you're gonna ask. No,
you don't think so?
No.
Rhule probably
just go for it.
Rhule probably would have been killed if they would have attempted a field goal at 49-7. But in my mind, it actually would have been like a smart play for down the road.
Yeah, what has he got?
Because it would have got blocked.
Might need one.
Get the reps. Yeah,
it would have got blocked, or he would have missed it horribly. And it would have been even worse.
Just adds to it.
Yeah. We're done. We are done with kicking a field goal.
Yeah, we made predictions on how many field goals they're going to make from what was this, after the Illinois game on?
Wow, Grim's got 7.
I predicted 1. Guess how many they've done since then? 0.
Grim's got 7. I love the old cockeyed optimist there. Holy cow! And it doesn't necessarily mean make them, right? Just attempts.
No, make them.
Oh, they're made.
Okay.
Ooh, 7. Jeez.
Because they've tried a couple.
What are they? Michigan State.
Joel writes in on your proposal, Gary. A field goal? Hell yeah, I'm taking it.
Have you guys done
37-10
in your score predictions? Have you guys thought about? Oh,
yes.
I'm thinking like 31-17, but you're like, wait a minute, I got to factor in a field goal. You know what? I'm going to go to 14 or 21. You round up to the next touchdown as opposed to field goal. That's what you got to do.
Touchdown and 3 rouges.
I mean, you could always get to the points and varieties.
Well, sure.
You know, I predicted Nebraska to score 27 on Saturday, and in my head I was like, okay, 4 touchdowns and a missed extra point.
I wanted to do 24. I went with 20. I went up to 28 because I didn't have confidence in the field goal kicking, and 28 seems what was I thinking?
The advertising of the Ohio State-Nebraska game sure changed during the course of that game on Saturday.
They weren't making that loud and proud.
They seemed really excited. Well, I guess we'll see you next week in Columbus.
They put out a little bit of a tweet. That was about it. Didn't hear them really pumping that up during the broadcast.
Who will be the celebrity guest picker this weekend or guest guy this weekend?
LeBron.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Will Nebraska wear their all white uniforms again?
I'm very proud of our fan base because on a 3-hour show on this radio station, Mickey Joseph and Trev Alberts came up before anybody brought up the white uniforms.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really?
That's a big upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that would have been right off the rip.
Well, I asked the guy, I go, hey, are you going to ask? And he's like, ask what? I'm like, you know where we're going here because that's not a good way to start the show. And he goes, well, I just can't figure this out. And I was like, okay, good. We're not going to talk about the uniforms.
I've been watching games since 1962, and let me tell you, I knew right when they walked onto this field that they were going to lose because they were wearing the surrender white.
If the coach could just put their cigarette out on my nipples, that would be great.
It's you guys.
Where did that just come from?
That was it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like
watching Nebraska football.
I'm looking at you, and you. None of you guys are saying anything, but I heard that.
That's a very fun drop.
I'm like, wow, that was good.
We do drops now.
So here is a theory on why
it just sounded like
it
someone
is
making
being
that
shared on why Nebraska wore all white.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Because they knew?
Don't say anything you don't want to say
they
here.
knew.
Because they thought Indiana was going to wear all red.
Oh. Okay, I guess.
And they didn't, and then all of a sudden they were like, "What the hell?"
So they were trying to be really accommodating.
Is this like a Scott Frost we had to throw out the whole playbook thing.
They line it up an odd man, and all of a sudden throw the half the game plan out.
There was nothing leading up to, man, I think we should wear the whites.
Yeah, it just really came out of nowhere on Saturday morning.
I saw somebody tweet Saturday morning. There was a rumor I'm hearing about all white. Or no, it was Friday. Friday during our show, someone in the comments said I'm hearing all white.
So, okay, there was somebody had a video on Instagram of them loading the truck, and they saw white pants. So they were like, "Oh, Nebraska's going to wear white on white."
So this thing gets even weirder because
get into some dark corners. Josh.
We know how Rhule thinks about these things. He's a motivator, right? And he dangles things in different directions.
That's a good way to put it.
Like
he views alternate jerseys. If you get to wear alternate jerseys, he views that as sort of like a reward for your work throughout the week.
What happens when it backfires?
And he's put the kibosh on alternate uniforms.
100%. Because he doesn't think they deserve it.
So
apparently their week in
so
preparation.
I don't know
their
what
bye-week preparation led to believe that they deserved it.
Now I'm in a pretzel. I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what to do here. Did he really think that they were going to? I mean,
no, he didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming.
He didn't see it coming.
He didn't see it coming. He clearly didn't see it coming. Let him wear white jerseys.
Well, he doesn't know the history, obviously. Otherwise, he would have saw it coming as soon as they put the white pants on.
Let's see. So Nebraska
white cleats too.
Nebraska was forced in 2002 to wear those god awful uniforms on the road.
The splashes,
the white on white. They had no choice, by the way. Players after the first, players didn't like the uniforms because of the wide stripes.
They're so
and
awful.
Players voiced their displeasure, but they were told that was an Adidas thing, and Adidas required Nebraska that year to wear those uniforms, and they had to go white on white the entire year.
Yep.
Much to the dismay of the players.
Yeah.
Because after they got blown out of Penn State in them,
they wore them in Iowa State
like,
too.
We're going back to red pants, but the red pants didn't have the thick stripe.
The stripe,
so
they looked ridiculous.
So from the athletic director's office, Nebraska could not wear any other thing except for that uniform that year.
Yeah, those are atrocious.
So they had to wear it in 2002. But then Riley loved the.
He
whites.
did like the all whites, yeah.
Yeah, they did it a couple times.
Even they had the alternative uniform in his second year at Northwestern. That was all white, but it was like chrome.
Is there a definitive history of the all whites? And I'm talking about our Nebraska's regular white road jersey with their white home pants, not alternate whites, because they did those a couple times.
Yeah. So Buffalo, they wore the alternate white.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the
Northwestern 2016 game.
Well, let me tell you,
they've done it a couple times. The most prominent in my mind was the Melvin Gordon game.
Yeah, that's true.
Which,
gosh, that's right.
That's not good.
Nope. Nope. Bad things tend to happen.
408 yards.
Yeah,
a lot of points, a lot of yards.
Let's see here. What happened here is once it came out that Nebraska was wearing white, people went and checked the record book, and it's showing up on your timeline as Indiana scoring. You're like, I got no time for this. I don't need to see about the history of white uniforms. Nebraska's down 7-0. They just gave up a rushing touchdown. So Dave Feit, of course, Dave.
Yep.
I'm sure he's done
7-14 all time in white uniforms. Bowl games 0-4. Osborne 1-3. One of the worst games ever in the history of Nebraska football, where they absolutely friggin' quit, was against Georgia Tech in the Citrus Bowl. Now, they did lose that game in 92 at Ames, Marv Seiler.
Yep.
But the Citrus Bowl against Georgia Tech, they absolutely quit. They wore all white in that game. So Osborne did it 4 times, 1-3. Solich 1-5. Callahan 0-1. Pelini was 2-1.
Hello.
Nice, Bo.
But then remember the bowl game.
2014 Wisconsin game.
But then remember the bowl game against USC that Barney Cotton was the interim?
Yeah.
Yes.
They wore all white.
Yeah. And they threw the ball 57 times.
Yes, they did.
Awesome.
Riley 2-3. Frost was 1-0. All
is he
alternate
counting
uniforms 2-0? Riley and Frost.
Okay, so
Frost undefeated in the whites.
That first set of numbers was not counting the alternates.
No.
Okay, good.
All whites.
Now we got to go back and look at these. We got to go back and look at these games individually.
Wait, which was the one that Frost wore?
Everything should be questioned.
Which game was when they wore the all whites with Frost?
I remember it. I don't remember what game it was. I really don't.
I don't either. And a win? I mean, there wasn't a lot to choose from.
Yeah, so he said that Frost was 1-0.
I have no recollection of
road
all
game that Frost won.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it has to
that would narrow it down.
You only got 16 choices.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let's go find it.
I don't know. I'm sorry to go down this rabbit hole, but because I honestly can't think of it.
Now we got to fact check a little bit here. So Nebraska did not win a game on the road in 2018.
Nope.
In 2019, they won at Illinois. That was not all white.
No, that was red.
They won at Maryland. Was Maryland?
Maybe
white?
that was. Yeah, that might have been.
Nebraska.
That was the Ramir game.
Maryland.
That was like, hey, who's this guy?
2019.
That might have been all white.
We'll go into images.
I don't think so.
Nope.
It wasn't. Okay.
It does not appear so.
What the hell did they win? All
what
white?
were the road games during COVID? Ohio State, Rutgers.
So loss. They won at Purdue that year. Josh, check Google.
I think that was a regular uniform because that was Adrian Martinez. They brought back quarterback power in that game.
And then at Rutgers in championship.
In the Champions Week, they did not. I know it was red pants in that one.
All right. 2021, no road wins. So I don't know. We've eliminated basically everything. I don't know if that's right.
We had to do some fact checking.
Yeah.
Because when they
what was
wanted
the 2020 game, I was looking up.
The Purdue.
Purdue and Rutgers.
Oh, yeah, Purdue and
I looked
Rutgers.
up Rutgers. Nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay. Purdue, Nebraska, Purdue.
Looks like red pants.
Okay.
All right. This is fake news.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think Frost ever
Unless
won all
he's
whites.
counting the Buffalo game.
which is the alternate game
Which
that
is-
they did win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be it then.
All right. Now we'll just wait for the next go around when Nebraska wears all red at home. Because you know that's coming.
Might
It's
as well
coming
just-
against UCLA, folks.
Might as well just do it.
Let's go.
Just do it.
Do it against Wisconsin. By the way, they looked a lot like Wisconsin.
Hey,
The uniforms.
Ohio State likes to wear alternate uniforms against Nebraska. This is not an alternate uniform game
I did
for
not
them,
believe
is it?
so.
I don't know. That'd be awesome if it
I haven't
was.
seen an announcement yet.
And Nebraska wear all red. Or
Just lean
some
into it.
weird combination
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I think all red is coming sooner than later.
Does Nebraska have black pants? They could
I don't
bust
think
back
so,
up.
man. I don't think they're getting no alternate uniforms for the foreseeable future.
What about
But I
those
think
blues?
it's for the next 2 years. That Rhule is like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, because Adidas didn't have anything on the table yet.
And
for that.
he likes to, he likes to reward them
Yep.
for performances. There
Well,
will be no rewarding
He
in
will
this
reward
program.
them now by never allowing them to wear all white again.
There you go. That's everyone's
Let's
reward.
go back to the nice, crisp, good-looking road uniform.
Yep.
We're good.
Yep.
And maybe the nice, good-looking, crisp football that we play.
That's
Yeah,
I can't remember. the last
I'm
time
on
that
board
was.
with that.
When did that happen?
If
Yeah.
you guys follow Parker Fleming over at Stats O War, every Monday morning he releases the
Oh, good.
"Did we really get beat that bad?"
Oh,
chart.
no.
Oh, good.
The team that got beat the worst this week was Nebraska.
Okay.
Well,
That tracks, Josh.
is it fair to ask what,
and it's by a lot,
what
according to this bar graph.
Big
Yeah.
10 and 60 on this game will look like?
Really bad.
Oh, I don't even know. How could you?
Maybe I'll give it a whirl today.
You could probably do Big 10 and 12 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
get
know,
it over
there's
with.
really no reason to
Ooh.
watch the second half.
Josh is excited
Big
about
10
that.
and 12. I could watch so many more games.
Man, we got 48 minutes of commercials we need to offload here. How about BTN and 12?
We got to play the Big 10 commercial a couple of times in there.
Yep.
I wanna live forever. Here comes USC and Rutgers on Friday night. And Big Noon Saturday. You can watch Nebraska.
Can't wait.
Fun times. We
Yeah.
love it.
All
Can't
right,
wait.
have
Fun times.
enjoy.
All right, we will.
How could we
We'll
not?
have a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, some people have. I'm good on this game now. I'm done. I've not talked enough about Indiana.
4 hours is all it took.
Well, yeah,
on
another
top of
3 hours on
7 on top
Saturday.
of 3 on
that's
Saturday.
true. All right. Well, then by Wednesday, maybe I'll be.
I want to
Sick
talk.
of it.
I want to talk about the World Series. It's the best World Series.
It's the best World Series.
It's got a lot of the things you need.
It does.
How many hours till Shohei bats?
4 days.
Yeah.
Hey, this time last year we were like, oh man, the NBA is starting, and the World Series with the Diamondbacks and the Rangers.
Yeah.
The NBA starts this week.
Yeah.
104 and a half hours until Shohei Ohtani bats.
So that is true about the NBA. I know
Yeah.
this because I have a fantasy basketball team.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, good luck to that team, by the way.
Thank you. You guys
Chris
want to
Middleton out for the opener for the Bucks.
I hope he's
he's
not
not on your
I hope
team.
he's not.
Joel,
let's go find out.
Joel Embiid will not play back to back.
Yeah, who's your starting lineup here?
Okay, I'll tell you.
What's your team name, first of all?
Connor's crazy team.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So I got Donovan Mitchell,
Okay.
DeJounte Murray, Damian Lillard,
Dame. All
A
right.
guy named Devin Vassell.
That's your starter.
Anthony. I would have never drafted Anthony Davis. Triggered.
He's got Anthony Davis.
Keegan Murray.
Okay.
Hates that guy.
Miles Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Allen.
The football player?
The
Jamal
guy that used to do
Murray.
the lasso thing?
Draymond Green.
Oh, you're
I
Draymond.
hate this team.
Oh, wow.
Your team old as hell.
Terry Rozier.
Man, you got some flexibility.
Jeremy Grant and Jaden Ivey. I hate this team
Good-
with a burning
Good draft.
passion.
Good draft, man. Good draft.
Horrible.
You
Is
got
this
Dame.
weekly or daily?
This I have no idea.
I hope for your sake it's daily.
As soon
Yeah.
as they make it so I can leave, I'd like to leave.
You got Dame. Dame.
I got damn.
You got
What's
Dame.
the name of the league? Does the league have a name?
I don't think so.
You got some jabronis? Are you guys
Just
already firing
Yahoo.
off texts with them?
Yahoo H2H points 202502.
Anybody
You guys
talking
should
trash?
join.
Anybody talking trash on that too?
Catchy.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't.
It's one thing when your friends do it, but then you just have
You're
complete
also gonna start
strangers.
talking trash with a 10-year-old that lives
Yeah.
in Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie?
Poughkeepsie? Yeah.
I meant to say
I
Poughkeepsie.
don't know. Poughkeepsie sounds better. Poughkeepsie.
Let's go to
I'm
Poughkeepsie.
tired.
I get it. Let's
shot.
we'll let you
Punch
go.
drunk.
That is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Monday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Doing all right? Josh, Josh, you looking to call some plays?
I mean, yeah.
You got that OC look to you today.
If called upon, yeah. I mean, I was mistaken for a coach over the weekend.
You might get called upon. I might call upon you.
So I am ready.
I don't know.
Ready.
Everything is up in the air. What's reality anymore? Who's good? Who's bad?
Navy. Navy's good.
As it pertains to Nebraska.
Oh.
What do you believe?
Volleyball.
Do you believe that? What do you believe about Nebraska football? What are some truths, some absolute truths about Nebraska football?
That is a hell of a question. I'm questioning everything.
Yeah,
everything.
I think that's actually an appropriate response. We'll see what the head coach says in a little over an hour. I've gone back and forth on this. I don't know what the press conference is going to sound like coming up at noon today. Will it be? I know people won't want to hear what I think is going to happen, and that is, hey man, I look back at the paraphrasing. Hey man, I look back at the tape. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as maybe we thought in the moment, and I think we just got to get better. We just gotta double down on the process. We just gotta, and that ultimately might be the right thing to do for the team. But I know that people don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, frankly. You lost 56-7 to Indiana, Josh. 56-7 to Indiana. 56-7 to anybody is enough to rattle the earth. 56-7 to Indiana is some pretty earth-shattering stuff. We're 19 games in now to Matt Rhule, and this is by far the most in doubt it has ever been. So you don't want to be too reactionary, 24, 48, whatever hours after a loss here. But yeah, you are questioning everything right now. And we will do that with you all today on the show.
We'll get through it today together.
Welcome. Today we will talk to Mike Schaefer in a little less than an hour. As we mentioned, Matt Rhule's Monday press conference is coming up back at its normal time, just a hair after noon. And Sam McKewon will join the show at 1 o'clock. That is a lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys, 402-951-1620 and the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor and Josh O at 1620thezone.com. On the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, we say good morning to the YouTubers today. What's up, everybody? How we doing? YouTube. Alex and Lincoln says F's in the chat.
Can I get some F's in the chat?
Get some F's in the chat.
Many people in the chat.
What are they asking about? They want to see me answer to my overlords.
We're getting a lot of this.
What is it?
So let's just do this.
Okay.
Hey, remember how you guys couldn't understand that the fans were disgusted by the results against Purdue and Rutgers because of the obvious vibes? This is why. This didn't even surprise me. It's how we've looked all year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just didn't get the obvious vibes. I don't know. I felt like Nebraska, as we talked about last week, I felt like Nebraska was in a pretty good spot. They had put together that second half against Purdue. They had won a close game against Rutgers, and I know it didn't look good. It doesn't always have to look good. I
thought they were getting ready for the grind of a Big Ten season.
Yeah, I thought that they had finally fully embraced that idea. It's like, it's gonna be icky, sticky, but we're gonna find a way to win games. I don't know about the obvious vibes. I'll say this before we take a break and really open things up for you guys here. I'll maintain that I was more wrong about Nebraska than I was about Indiana. I was definitely wrong about both.
Oh, okay.
I was definitely wrong about both. And And I said it last week, Indiana's a good football team. I still don't know that we know much about them. Nebraska played horribly. Couldn't execute simple things. Did not play up to whatever standard they had set for themselves. And no matter what you think of how good that football team, Nebraska, no matter what you think of how good that football team is, they didn't play up to it. If you think they stink and they can't execute anything, they were worse than that on Saturday. If you said, oh man, well, at least we can get some things done and we have a pretty good defense, they obviously didn't do that either. So far below expectation and so far below what I thought was the floor for what you could get in an individual game coached by Matt Rhule. So far below that. And it wasn't just, oh, well, I got away from them after they threw the pick and it was 28-7. Like stuff that led to that was obviously the problem as well. And how they reacted to things, how they reacted to bad things happening to them during the game is a puzzle that has not yet been solved and is not close to being solved and may have regressed on the path to trying to be solved. Nebraska has a horribly embedded issue with how to handle bad things, good things, changes in momentum, changes in anything. And they're way far away from finding out the answers to that right now.
Many people want you to apologize for once again.
Who should I apologize to?
Saying that Nebraska will make a bowl game. What are you all talking about? How could they not make a bowl game? You guys are idiots. These are the things they want you to apologize for.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have an apology tour during the show today. I still think Nebraska will win one more game.
Oh. Hey, Eric Collins, what'd you think of that game Saturday?
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea! Oh, my goodness!
I feel like Tommy Boy. I have a plan. Tommy strapped a road flare to his chest. That's me. That's me. I have a plan. One more win? Question mark? Josh Peterson eats tomato with MAGA hat at the end of the season. I don't know. You got me here or there. All right, we're off and running. We're going to open things up for you guys. What do you think? We have some main topics that, of course, we'll bring your way. Mike Schaefer will join us at the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour. Thanks for being with us here today on this apology tour, I suppose. We'll come back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
One of those games, Josh, where you look at the box score and really you don't need to look at the box score in order to know the story of the game. 56-7 tells you a lot, if not everything. So I really haven't poured through the numbers this weekend, which is so infuriating because last week was all about football, right? It's like, how's Nebraska going to do this? Here's some areas where they can win. Here's some areas where they're vulnerable.
You were so excited to talk about the game.
It was about the football, right? And then the game happens, and it wasn't about football. It was about, like, I always say this. You have the expectation when you predict a game or when you think about a game, whether it's your game or some other game, you have a reasonable expectation that both of the teams will play as like a normal version of themselves or like you have this average that they've been playing at the entire year. And it's like, okay, that's what I think they're going to be. And then you project that onto the game. And I just don't think we got that for Nebraska on Saturday, which makes you obviously question why and how, and it's not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. It could, if you're an eternal optimist, it could make you mildly optimistic about the rest of the year to just say, all right, well, that was the one, and that was one, and we just didn't have it. And, I'm not thinking that way. I don't know what the real Nebraska is. And we asked right at the beginning of the show, what are some absolute truths about this football team? I don't think that.
I thought of one.
Oh, yeah?
They cannot run the football.
Yeah.
I know this to be true.
Yeah.
Regardless of opponent or personnel.
Yeah, this would be factual. This would be factual. They also don't try, but they can't. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it.
That's why they don't try.
You know what's funny? I actually don't think that people always, you can't run the ball. Nebraska ran for 70 yards on Saturday.
Almost half of them from Heinrich Harburg.
Well, Dylan Raiola only got sacked twice the entire game for a loss of 11 yards. So it's not like, Nebraska basically had 80 yards rushing on Saturday. And, like you said, 32 of them were from Heinrich Harburg. Emmett Johnson got 8 carries. I actually don't think Nebraska's offensive line is that bad. I really don't. I just think their running backs are not good at all.
Okay.
And I don't think their wide receivers are doing anything to help them. And so then we get into this conversation about the offense and what in the hell is going, because that's the main thing, right? There's the mental part, and I want to talk about that because it's something that Matt Rhule needs to fix, address, like now. And it's something that he identified 19 games ago when he took over. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think that was within the realm of possibility. So a lot of what you saw on Saturday is sort of a direct response to that. But the offense is trending in a horrible, horrible direction. It's a pick-a-play offense with no sequential play calling, with no setting things up. The receivers get no separation. The run game is non-existent. Dylan Raiola is falling into traps that many quarterbacks before him fell into. This is the nightmare scenario for Dylan Raiola. For Nebraska's offense, obviously, in general. But if you are thinking about Dylan Raiola and his progress and how that is attached to Nebraska's success over the next 2 seasons after this one while he's here, or at least, maybe 3, whatever. This is trending in a horrible, horrible way. What did we always say about Adrian Martinez? That he looked better in his first game than he did in his 10th, than he did in his 30th, than he did in his 50th, however many games he ended up playing. He played a bunch for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola looks way worse than he did in game 1. Way worse.
Yeah.
Mostly because the offense has crumbled around him. Like I said, the play calling doesn't make much sense. There's not a whole lot of setting things up. Nebraska doesn't have a whole lot of things that it can turn to. It does not have a run game. It needs a run game. They're not going to run it with him. And Nebraska is refusing to throw the football down the field, even though the times that they do throw the football down the field, it seems as if they, get some pass interference calls. I'd like to see those contested plays a little bit downfield, but those guys haven't done anything to really deserve the ball at this point. His footwork has regressed. He looks less confident. He looks more scared. He looks like he's been told there's just giant emphasis to take care of the football. And at times I think he's skittish, and yet he forced balls into bad spots on Saturday. And I think he holds the ball too long now too. I think he is indecisive. So now he has grown to be indecisive. He has now fallen victim to a lot of the other, it's not over, but a lot of the things that we have talked about with Husker quarterbacks of the past. Things have sort of crumbled around him. And if you do that and you're asking your quarterback to, as an example, Josh, in this game, drop back 44 times.
Sounds like a lot.
Nebraska they don't want to be that, right? They want to, at least they say this, they want to run at you and they want to be physical, and they ran it 29 times so they ran it, take away the sacks, they ran it 27 times for 81 yards. And so it's hard to say that. Now, game script wasn't on their side. Obviously, they were down the entire game, and they, whatever. Not helped by the special teams by walking out of bounds at the 1 yard line. Oof. So Raiola he is no longer like the guy who's like, hey, everybody else has to live up to his standard on offense. He's doing things the right way, and everybody else needs to catch up. Remember that narrative, Josh?
I do.
That was from the coach, right? Everybody else needs to catch up to Dylan Raiola. That is no longer the case. He is now part of the problem. Probably to no fault of his own. I think that's a natural, when you have a talented quarterback such as Dylan Raiola, like your natural reaction is to be like, well, it's probably not his fault, but it is. If we're holding all these other guys responsible now for saying that the wide receivers can't get open, I mean, he has to hit them as well. He simply isn't making throws. He's lost the confidence and the ability to make throws that he was making earlier in the year, earlier in his career. It's his seventh game. So if you're looking for a reason why this was an earth-shattering loss, it's that. I mean, that's a great start. Anyway,
we always had we got the 5-star quarterback. We got that part figured out.
Yep.
Like, even if the team loses, we got that to lean back on. I understand you were down big. You're chucking it all over the place. Probably going to throw some picks in that instance when you're a freshman, but oh boy, didn't look good.
No. The natural inclination is to say, all right, well, they got to get some help around them. And they do. Yeah. They have to. But it's regressed. It's been, like I said, if Nebraska's hopes and dreams or ceiling or whatever is tied to him, it hasn't been good enough from him individually either, right? And maybe that's a result of all the things that are happening around him. But either way, he's in the hole now, right? We've seen a lot of Husker quarterbacks go this direction, and very rarely are they able to get out. That's the other thing. So, yeah, if it seems doom and gloom today, I don't know. Like, they need a hard reset. They need a hard reset on offense. They need to turn off the Xbox, unplug it, plug it back in, reset the internet, and turn it back on, and figure out what it is they can do, what they want to do, what they want to be, and do it. Because, man, that team on the other side of the field knew exactly what they wanted to do. You want to give them credit for that. They knew exactly what, and they had, like, I thought their wide receivers were really good. I thought their backs made moves that Nebraska's didn't. That was not an unbeatable team that Nebraska played on Saturday. But by God, they knew what they wanted to do, and they knew exactly who they were. So I know what we're talking about here. What it eventually gets down to, Josh, is this stupid word that we've been using that we haven't used in a year and a half now, much of. Identity. And it's led people to go down this road where it's like, well, we need a guru. We need a scheme guy on offense. Nebraska doesn't need a scheme guy on offense. Nebraska needs to execute. Who
are they going to execute this?
They have an absolute dearth of execution on offense, especially to do what they're trying to do, which is block you. Nebraska's not doing any motion or any, crazy stuff. Like it's pretty straight up what they're trying to do to you. They got to execute. And so what has led to Nebraska's inability to execute? I wish I knew. The coach better know. I don't know why they can't do simple things. I don't know why they can't do simple things.
Okay.
Block the right person.
Okay, your wide receivers can't get space. Okay, like run a route where they get the ball at a short distance in space and they make the play. And, like they're not doing that. Like nothing's working.
This is not just offense. Mm-hmm. This is also defense.
Yeah, we got something for you too, defense.
This is also defense. They can't execute, right? So we could talk about the scheme and all we want, but Nebraska can't execute. And I don't know why. Something didn't connect. Something didn't work. Or maybe it's just that they got to a point where, I was thinking about these sort of like backbreaking moments in the game, and there were many, Josh. There was the fumble by Dowdell. There was the walking out of bounds at the 1 yard line. There was the interception in the red zone. There was 100 things in between, right? But it just didn't feel like Nebraska always responded well to those things. And I can't, like, I don't think they can't do anything right. Like, that's a bad way to put it, right? But I'm not a defensive expert.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not. But first drive of the game, right? Nebraska looks like they're in a pretty good spot to get off the field on third down right away. And first of all, they miss a tackle on the first play, right? And I'm like, uh-oh. That is not what you want. The missed tackle on the first play. It was a 2 yard gain. It should have been a 2 yard gain. It was 6. All right. Then they get to 3rd and 1. Indiana gets to 3rd and 1, and they toss it out to the left, and Nebraska over pursues it. And I think, and once again, not a defensive expert here, I think the guy that got caught up in the middle that was supposed to be in the right fit, or maybe it was the guy behind him who was absent, was John Bullock, who's been Nebraska's defensive MVP all year long. And he gets sucked into this, and he's trying to fight his way back. And of course, he's blocked off. Guy runs untouched for 40 yards before he's tackled. You're like, oh boy. All right. This is simple execution. Be in the right place, right? Leverage the right thing. And that's just all day long. That's and maybe that wasn't just Bullock on that play, but like it just wanted to use that as an example of what I saw. This is all the time, everywhere, and Nebraska got into a game where it's not like most normal teams are affected by loud environments and people always talk about home field advantage and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now I know we're on a disrespecting Indiana kick here, but I didn't think it was too lit there on Saturday.
You didn't think John Cougar Mellencamp got them all
riled up? I thought it was good for Indiana. Sorry. I thought it was good for Indiana. Don't put me on one of those videos again. It was nice. I thought it was good for Indiana. Nebraska should have been able to handle that. I don't think it was that. For whatever reason, Nebraska can't get itself prepared to play at a normal level on a consistent basis. It needs something. It needs something to go their way. It needs to get like against you. You've now seen the widest variance of things that you could possibly see. I don't think there's that big of a difference between Colorado and Indiana. Nebraska beat the living hell out of Colorado. They played so well. They played so confidently. They played like they executed and they did more.
Mm-hmm.
They played Indiana. They played so unconfidently, couldn't execute anything, and got absolutely drilled 56-7. And that is way too wide of a variance. Way too wide of a variance. Yes. You don't know what to expect from them because the circumstances, for whatever reason, for this team have to be exactly perfect for them to play well. And I don't like that.
You had an extra week of prep.
Right. I don't know if it was the prep. I mean, you're going to hear Rhule talk about it again today, and he talked about it after the game. He's like, I didn't see this coming. I bet they prepped pretty well. But
best week of practice.
Probably. He might say that, and people will lose their bleep.
I'll lose my mind.
People will lose their minds.
Update out of Bloomington.
Uh-oh. Is Kurt Cignetti the coach of the decade?
Well, coach of the millennium. Get it right.
Okay.
And Curtis Rourke will not play this week.
He's
against Washington. He has a thumb injury.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a period of time.
Yeah,
according to what was being reported last night. So let's go. Let's go to
season could end, and you might never know how good Indiana is.
They're good. I mean, they're good. There's no doubt about it. That's a good football team. And honestly, at this point, they're probably going to lose one, maybe two games. They're probably going to the playoff
without their quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's their backup quarterback?
That guy Jackson. He was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he transferred from where'd they say Tennessee, something like that.
Tennessee.
I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, they're good. They're probably going to the playoff at this point. So I'll go ahead and eat crow on that one.
Good for them.
Hurt Husker fan says Google him. He's a way better coach than ours. I joke, but also I don't joke. All right, Josh, read me some comments. I have many texts. I have many emails. Just
where
to
begin?
Just feed me.
Charles, I hate to break it to people. You can have a great week of practice and get the hell beat out of you on Saturday.
Sure.
Jimmy, Tony's defense is built to beat a pro-style offense. A lot of people selling their Tony White stock.
Yeah.
After Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to hang on.
I'm going to hang on.
I'm going to hang on to that one for a little while. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if you've got something up that you're ready to read.
I'm just going to start ripping through emails.
Okay.
Here's Kevin on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hello, Kevin.
Did Saturday kind of look like the extension of the overtime in Illinois? if overtime had just kept going, mercifully, it ended. That was nice.
An hour-long overtime.
And then it picked back up for the Indiana game. Kind of. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like Nebraska didn't no-show. They didn't no-show on Saturday. Remember, they were in it. Like, I think it was backbreaking to have the first drive end the way they did. It did with a rushing touchdown and have a big run, right? All that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you have the thing at the 1 yard line with Barney. And then you go back down and then you fumble it. Like all these things added to it. It was 14-0. Nebraska could have made it 14-7. And then, all the way until probably it got to 28-7, start of the second half. And Nebraska drives it down again. And then they throw an interception. Had a nice Fedoni play on that drive. Like they didn't no-show. But so don't get me wrong. Once again, they didn't no-show. But their reaction to things that happen in the game is not normal. It's not normal.
There was some shell shock pretty early on.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't think that they were going to get that from them. I don't know. Maybe they underestimated them.
They got Colorado'd.
Oh, yeah.
Like Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado'd Colorado.
How did that happen? Where everyone, I looked at that as an advantage all week for Nebraska, right? Nobody's talking about them. Everybody's talking about Indiana. They got the whole John Cougar Mellencamp. They get the whole thing. It's all about them. It's all about Cignetti. And Cignetti was playing it real cool. I want to talk about him in a little bit here. But, it was all about them. They had every reason to just be like, oh, well, we got. We're looking forward to Michigan. We're looking forward to Ohio State. We're going to the playoff, right? You could see that. And Nebraska had every reason to be upset by it, to have a chip on their shoulder. Everybody's talking about them. What about us? And I don't know what their mentality was going into the game, but it certainly didn't feel like they played with a chip on their shoulder. They didn't feel like the team, like Nebraska felt like the team that everybody was talking about, and they took the other side lightly. I don't really understand that. Because once it went wrong, it went wrong.
Yeah, it got off the rails in a hurry.
Andrew writes in on Twitter.
Hello, Andrew.
He says if the first drive of the game by the other team is backbreaking, that's a huge issue. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But isn't that the way it seemed?
Yes. Now, if I was in the huddle, I would say, gentlemen, there's still 50 minutes left.
Yeah, and we could do normal things. Mm-hmm. We could do normal things too. And they didn't really do any of that. All right, here's an email from Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Is Raiola going to be happy here if they don't right the ship? For a guy who's never been anywhere more than 1 year, is Raiola going to take off after this year if things go south? Well, I don't know. I don't have any sort of inside knowledge or information on that. But if I'm him and it stays the same, I got to look.
I would pick up the phone.
Yeah.
As much as
it's going to ring. It's going to ring, Josh.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because if I'm him, I can't get worse. I have to take the talent that I have and get better. And maybe some of that is on him, right? Take some personal individual responsibility here. But you don't want to look back at your college career and say that I wasn't developed at the highest rate that I could possibly get. Obviously, he wants to have success, and that's a results-oriented thing. But for what he wants to do, Dylon. Sorry. No. Josh,
sorry.
Dylon. There we go. It sounds different today, doesn't it? He has to get better.
Sadder. How does it sound sadder?
He has to get better. And if he doesn't feel like he's in the right environment to get better, then yes, he has to look. I don't, yeah. But I don't know how there's a lot of season left. There's 5 games left. So
I don't like it. And I don't like it with Ohio State looming.
Chris says, and you can't get up and you need some football Viagra. Thoughts?
Football Viagra. Now there's an idea.
Zach emails in.
Hi, Zach.
Meanwhile, the number 1 on my list for Nebraska's last 3 coaching searches, and then it's a screenshot of what Illinois did to Michigan on Saturday. Demonstrated success in coaching championship level football in the Big Ten. That would be Mr. Belima. We never tried to get Belima. We never offered Belima.
I would sit here and tell you, no, that isn't right, but sure seems like that's right. Yeah.
He's good.
21-7.
He's good.
Now that's
I'm not saying it. Look, it's not over. I mean, it's not over. It's 19 games. All right. But
are you sure?
Yes, I am sure.
Okay.
It's not over. For everybody who's like, oh, well, Rhule. Remember when that guy called in? I can't remember to which coach it was. It's like, with all due respect, coach, it's time to hang it up. You're fired now. Right. No, that's not it.
Was that somebody calling into Dabo's show?
I thought it was a Nebraska coach for some reason. Maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it was Dabo. That's it's not over. It's not over, but they have to now, in the face of a lot of adversity, they now have to, figure out and really answer some hard questions about themselves. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? With whom are we going to do it with? Stuff like that. How do we want to be? Because the whole, saving things, or building to a certain point like that thing, the long drawn out deal, like that's basically over. People want results now because they started 5-1 and losing 56-7 to Indiana after you had been ranked in this season already, like you had been sort of, you dipped your toe back in the national waters a little bit and kind of you were trying to get back to that point. Losing this game this way is not in the plans. Like that is officially a regression from the plans, right? It's not like you hope it's a blip on the radar, but it represents something different than the direction you're going. You can't be like, this is just something that we'll just, we'll get better at and we'll do better in the future,
Yeah, so many people.
You got to answer for that one. That's a real result.
Normally we'd come on here and be like Monday, like, one game, flush it, only counts as one loss. But, more and more, it's like, hey, Vanderbilt turned this around in 2 months.
Yeah, people do that too. I never like to.
I normally don't, but I'm tired of being patient.
Yeah, I know.
I would like incremental progress.
I don't want to do the Signetti thing because we did the Dion thing last year. And
yes, exactly. And
it's just not.
I'm not saying tell everyone to get their walking papers, but oh gosh, it just is so frustrating.
Thank you, El Scorcho, who tweets in. It was Hoiberg who got fired, quote unquote, on the radio.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, Coach.
Okay.
Sorry, Coach. You're a good man, but you're gonna have to go now.
Thank you.
Go back and find that call. Quick phone call before we get to Schaefer. Here is coincidentally Mike on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dr. Connor. Last week, I was tethered and feeling kind of safe and everything was great. My little tethered Husker world. And you talked me into untethering myself. And now I'm out floating around in pain and misery.
Like Matt Damon at the end of The Martian.
Yeah. I honestly, I have a heart. I see UCLA as an opportunity for a win. Wisconsin, yeah, Iowa. I'm not even going to say anything about it. I'm not asking for an apology, but my Lord, I'm looking for my tether, and I want to pull myself back in so I can live this life of caution when it comes to Nebraska football.
Oh, Mike. Well, I will offer an apology. I am sorry. I'm sorry for reading. I guess having a really bad rate. I thought I had a good read. I don't know. I didn't expect that. I wouldn't have told you. I knew that there was a chance that Nebraska would lose that game. I did not think that was at all within the realm of possibility. I thought there was a chance that Illinois could win Indiana could win via the blowout. Not that. Nebraska, like they could have lost 42-14. I'd have been like, oh boy. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. Maybe Indiana is just a lot better than I thought, and Nebraska just maybe isn't as good as we thought. No, this is earth-shattering. 56-7, Josh. That's earth-shattering, groundbreaking.
I don't know what to think.
I'm sorry about I'm sorry about telling you to lose your tether.
Lose your tether.
So he's floating out there in the gulag. This is a long fall back to the bottom when you break your back and you have to do a bunch of sit-ups like Christian Bale to get better. But
we'll do the sit-ups. We're not afraid of work.
He's floating around. Where's my tether? It doesn't work that way. You're untethered. You're dead. I'm sorry. But we all did. To the point though, we woke up. We woke up on Sunday, right? Maybe felt a little worse. Since you untethered yourself, you're the gut got punched a little harder.
Did the games on Saturday all kind of suck, or
Yes.
was that just the after effects of?
Oh, it was the after
India?
effects. Yeah, no, it made everything way worse.
I was like, Georgia, Texas, this isn't really doing it.
I was
for
mad.
me.
I was mad all day on Saturday. I couldn't believe what I had seen.
I was just in a haze. I was like, these games aren't doing it.
No, it was horrible. Josh, people are asking for an apology from you.
For what?
For predicting all of those streaks would be broken and we would all have to go to Grand China Buffet.
Look, I was there, okay?
You went to Grand China Buffet?
I had to go in case someone showed up. No one was there. Good.
Are you going to offer an apology?
I do not apologize for believing in something. I will tell you I was wrong.
Yes.
Dead wrong.
Yes.
Dead ass wrong.
Thank you.
But I will not apologize for wanting to believe in something.
Okay. Does that count? Chat, does that count?
I don't know. How'd I do, everybody?
You did a pretty good non-apology there.
Okay.
Not bad. It sounded sincere.
I meant it. Every word.
All right. Well, let's talk with Schaefer. How's that sound?
Oh, great. This guy's going to be a sad sack. Guards are dead. Vikings lost.
Yeah, how'd the Guardians do? How'd the Vikings do?
Need something happy. Anybody have a baby over the weekend?
Not gonna. My baby, Josh.
Yeah, your baby's adorable.
She is amazing.
Oh.
She smiles like at me now.
Mm-hmm.
She's like purposefully.
That's my guy.
You know,
this is my guy.
Yeah,
here.
she's like looking at me like I like this.
Yeah.
You before it was just like kind of a involuntary smile at nothing. You know, maybe at the curtains.
Ooh, light.
Yeah. Now it's like this guy.
This is the guy who gives me stuff.
Yeah. I like
Feeds
this
me,
guy.
changes my butt.
So
I like this guy.
Whenever I got sad this weekend, which is many times, I was like, I'm gonna go look at that baby.
Yeah.
Perspective. Have a cute baby. It fixes a lot of things. All right. We are back with Mike Schaefer after this on 1620 The Zone. Hey, the World Series is set. That'll make everybody happy, right? Oh, what's that? It's the Yankees and the Dodgers? Oh, no. What happened?
Untether yourself. Shohei Ohtani's 4 days away. 4 hours away.
Thanks to Platt Cat for showing up for us at the Grand China Buffet just now.
He's out in these streets.
He's out there, and if anybody pulls up, you can tell him, hey, look, I know why you're here. Nebraska didn't make a bowl game. You can go back home.
Moose up front should have told you.
Yeah, they should. We should probably go. Josh, yes. We should go there today, one of us, and probably me, and put some sort of sign, placard, in a public area of the Grand China Buffet and say, in case you're here for the bowl game celebration, Nebraska lost. And then maybe put the scoreboard on there and, try again next week.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe try again in 3 weeks.
Maybe put some crab legs on a platter outside. Just some people have something to nibble on.
So Nebraska plays Ohio State this week. I don't know if you heard that.
We got that to look forward to.
And then they play UCLA, and then they have another bye. So what could go wrong is my question. Oh, what's that? UCLA won over the weekend?
Damn it. At Rutgers? That's multiple time zones.
Why not? Hoiberg writes in.
Hi, why not? Hoiberg?
Subject line, baby smiles. Fun fact for both you and for Schaefer, maybe, for the first few months of their life, a baby's smile is a reflex when they pass gas. Maybe she's just farting. Either way, it seems genuine. I appreciate that. And she's 3 months old now, just about. So I figured it's real. Yeah. I figured it's real. All right. I don't know where Schaefer is, but that's okay. Should we get... Oh, you going to call? All right, yeah, try and give him a call again. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go back to the text line here. Texter says the only thing that might keep Raiola here is a promise of a change at offensive coordinator. So I wonder what's going to happen there. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if it'll be answered today. I don't know if it'll be answered at the end of the season. I don't know if anything will change. My anticipation is that what you'll hear today as far as the process on the offense is that they're going to kind of just double down on it and go from there. I can tell you once again that it's not what anybody wants to hear, but I guess that would be my guess. Unless the urgency, really kicks in, because I hope there is that by this point. Like I said, this loss represents something very different. You can't say, hey, look, it's fine. We're still on the right track, even though they are 5-2 and they're 1 win away from bowl eligibility. It's just nobody would tell you that losing 56-7 is in the plans at this point in the tenure. So we are now joined on the 42 Degrees, the Source hotline by the very jovial, I'm sure, Mike Schaefer of Husker 247. Hello, Schaefer.
I am happy that weekend is over.
Great weekend for you. Great weekend.
Yeah, it's when you get all those texts about how all your teams are winning, everything must be great. It's all going to come crashing down at one particular spot. That was this past weekend.
Yeah, that was.
I got to say, I mean, the recipe of harrowing, terrible loss in baseball on Friday night, Nebraska just gets utterly humiliated on Saturday. Another terrible loss on Saturday night. And then the Vikings-Lions was just a really good football game that somebody was going to lose. So that one, that
didn't bother you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they basically played to a draw and they lost a 2-point game in which they didn't get the 2-point conversion. They had to kick field goal because they couldn't get a third down, and they had to give the ball back because they couldn't give a third down. I mean, it's one of those, a little goes a little different. They win that game. It's hard for me to be upset about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think it was 1 week ago, Schaefer, you joined this show at this very time. We're like, wow, it's coming up. It's all coming up Schaefer right now. This is great.
Yeah.
It's amazing how things can change in 1 week.
Are you saying that you're a jinx? Is this what I understand here?
Well, I've been called many things.
Recently.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah. Well, I keep saying that Nebraska's going to make a bowl game when they get to 5 wins, and they keep not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It has become a thing.
It feels like I don't know. They're going to get to 6, right? Or are we? What's your confidence level?
It's still high. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's obviously for 2 weeks because I don't see things going particularly well against Ohio State. For 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of angst, and then of course there'll be a lot of clenching going into that UCLA game. But I like Nebraska's ability to win at least 2 games of the final 4 that they that they play. I know it's hard to believe, but other teams had lost as well.
Yes.
Iowa lost on Saturday. That game I was never threatened by Iowa on behalf of Nebraska at the end of the season the way that other people felt. That feels like a game Nebraska could win. Wisconsin, who we left dead and buried 4 weeks ago, still feels like a game Nebraska can win. USC, who's never really gotten off the mat here in Big Ten play, that feels like a game. So it's, will they win all of those? No. But can they win some of them? Yes, I think they can.
Where do you start, Schaefer, with if you were to diagnose the central root problem of Nebraska's offense right now, where does it start for you?
Well, I don't think they can do simple. So it starts with that. Like they can't do easy stuff. And so when you can't do easy stuff,
why?
You really can't.
Why can't they execute the simplest things?
These are very fair, very real questions that many people are asking when they're watching Nebraska play on Saturday. I don't have an answer for it. I really don't. I don't understand why their offensive line can't get from the first guy they're blocking to the second guy. I don't understand why their wide receivers can't block somebody right in front of them. I don't understand why it is as difficult as it is for Nebraska to move the ball down the field despite, and I still think this, I think they have weapons. I'm not entirely sure what the root cause is, though I suspect some regression from Dylan Raiola has gone a long way for revealing how not particularly good this offense was. And now that he's playing at a much lower level, we're seeing kind of the reality of that. But I don't have great answers for you. I mean, the running backs not being very good is exactly what I thought coming into the season. The wide receivers being unable to win one-on-one routes against Indiana is inexplicable. I don't know how that is a possibility. I don't know if it's individual talent. I don't know if they're not being taught good route concepts. I don't know if it's a combination of those things. I know that when I'm at the game at home and I can see there's guys that are open. So it's not like the offense is completely devoid of people getting open. But right now, Dylan can't find them. And Indiana didn't do anything like unique. They played a quarters coverage, and Nebraska's outside wide receivers couldn't beat it. And then Dylan just had absolutely no confidence in his ability to drive a football with his arm. So they didn't really throw beyond 10, 15 yards, really much of the game.
Yeah.
There's just a lot in there that I don't understand, but it comes back to this. They can't line up and run a football or pass a football without having to dress it up to some degree because they can't do simple right now. Well, you can't even run a tunnel screen because you're not good enough to be able to block it. That's to put it mildly, that is a youth football play. That is a play that players learn when they are in 3rd grade or 4th grade and first learning how to play, organized football and padded football. Like, you expect those guys to struggle with it. You don't expect simple plays to be as difficult as they are, and yet here we are.
When I was playing in 7th grade, we were not running tunnel screens, for the record. We were running the wing T, baby.
Yeah, but you went to Millard North, so it's, like we gotta at least factor in that 25 years behind the passing revolution.
Yeah,
was that area of Omaha.
Yeah, it's a little different now, I would assume, but yes, a long time ago, everybody was basically running with a couple wing backs and handed it off to the fullback like 86% of the time. Probably not so much anymore. So you're saying 7th and 8th grade quarterbacks, like they throw it around now a little bit?
I believe that's accurate. I mean, they're not out there like Timmy Chang from Hawaii, just dropping dimes all over the field. But the core concepts of simple football exist well before these guys get to college.
Yeah,
so it is a little concerning how poor they are at just doing easy things. The regression of the offensive line is really bad from a run blocking standpoint. I think they're fine in terms of pass protection, though. I think Dylan, is seeing ghosts. I don't love what's happening.
Nope.
Spot right now. There are real concerns about, putting them in bad spots and letting this fester. But the offensive line pass protection, I think, has largely been fine. They can't run block at all. I didn't expect it to be this bad. I didn't think it was going to be great. I didn't think they were going to turn into Alabama, and get Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram and those guys in the 2010s running downhill on everyone. But I didn't think it would look as bad as it has right now.
Do you think those that same route has spread over to the defense, or is that just a one game? Like, what do we take away from that defensive performance?
See, it's easier for me, and this might be the completely wrong way to approach it. I have so much more concern about how Nebraska can move the football and what's happening on offense than I do on defense. And that's not to say that there aren't real issues on defense, because there absolutely are. But once you get past Ohio State, I don't look at the Final Four teams as teams that are going to have the balance or the blend offensively in the way that Indiana and Ohio State do. Indiana, in particular, was able to fall right in that sweet spot where Illinois did, where Nebraska never really looked comfortable. If they thought it was a run, it was going to be a pass. If they thought it was a pass, it was a run. And then here's the other thing. The defensive line didn't show up. I mean, the second and third level, atrocious tackling, poor coverage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The defensive line just got their lunch ate. And they got their lunch ate by an offensive line that isn't full of NFL guys. They got their lunch ate by guys that are just good, solid Big Ten football players. It's what makes it so frustrating to watch Nebraska football every year and wonder why it's so hard to have an offensive line that just does its job. It doesn't have to be full of day one players. Like Indiana, it doesn't have the team that just beat Nebraska 56-7. It's not full of all of these day one guys. It's full of guys who are playing at a high level and are really good college football players, or know exactly what their scheme and where they're supposed to be, and they go and do it, and they're playing at a high level of belief. And that is normally how you would describe Nebraska's football on defense.
Yeah.
And it was nowhere to be found on Saturday. From the very first play, it felt like Nebraska was on ice skates, and that feeling never changed.
Yeah. I don't know, because a lot of the same things we talked about with the offense, just the lack of ability to execute simple things, that went over the defensive side. And I agree with everything you said about how, I think I'm more apt to think that, all right, it was just a bad day for them, but I don't that was out of nowhere. I mean, I'm not sure what to make of that defensive performance. There was just complete lapses and lack of execution just all over the place. And so I'm forced to believe, I'm led to believe the mental, they just weren't there on the mental side of things. And I don't know how they got to that spot, because I thought they were in a pretty good one coming off of the bye and what they had done the previous 2 weeks before.
I think we also sort of have to acknowledge that Nebraska is two different teams when they're home and away. I don't think this game, I think Indiana wins. What we saw, they're a far superior team to Nebraska. If that game's at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, I don't think they play as poorly as they did there. But so far, as we've seen, they didn't travel well to Purdue. Last year, they were so-so on the road. They had a horrible no-show against Michigan State in a game that never should have lost. They were at their best probably against Wisconsin and Illinois last year, but even then, still, it's just they're not a particularly good road team, and that really shouldn't be a thing. I don't understand why it is as difficult as it is for them to start games on the road, for them to play at 11 a.m. sometimes. It's just all of these things that shouldn't be hard or shouldn't be difficult. They just can't seem to stay out of their own way. And here we are talking about it for the umpteenth year in a row. And we're definitely in the middle of the everybody is mad. You told us they were going to be better. How dare you lie to his face?
Yeah.
So,
can't confirm.
That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. I feel like we're square in the middle of that thing.
It's fair. Well. I mean, people should be mad. I don't want to minimize that. Like, if you watch Saturday, you should be mad. That is an embarrassing performance coming off of a bye. There's no excuse for it. You got out everything. Out-athleted, out-coached, out-played, out-performed, out-executed. Whatever the word you want to use, it happened. And so this is not me trying to minimize anyone being mad. Be mad. That was pathetic.
Chef Schaefer, anything in the crock pot today?
We're going back to the well. We did this one a little bit earlier. There's plans for an entirely different meal today, but we have some leftovers. You know how I feel about leftovers. You got to repurpose them. We got some leftover queso, and so we want to make nachos today. So we're going back to the well. We got some chicken nachos. We're going to have the chicken sitting in salsa and some taco seasoning, some rotel, and just let it sit there for 6 hours. And then we're going to shred it up, and we're going to throw it on a bed of chips with cheese and all the toppings, and throw the queso on top of it. It's going to be glorious, glorious meal for the doubleheader on Monday Night Football tonight.
Making it work for you. Schaefer, appreciate it as always. Enjoy your week.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Mike Schaefer, Husker 247. Look at that. Schaefer making the best of his limited resources in the crock.
I needed the crock pot.
Crock pot of the day
at the end of that segment.
Crock pot of the week is very important.
Just need something to lift my spirits.
Soon enough, there won't be football around anymore to complain about anymore, and we'll have to go back to the should I click on this link? But that's
always going to be there. The internet will always be there.
Oh yeah, people will always be doing ridiculous things. That's for sure. Speaking of the odd news, coming up on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Matt Rhule's Monday press conference is coming up in just a few short minutes, but first, a little comedic relief.
I want real questions from the scribes today.
Oh, yeah. People are in that mode, too.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with our media?
I want heads on pikes.
What's up with our media not asking questions that are good?
Well, it's almost lunchtime, so let's talk about food.
Yeah. I like food.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers had an interesting meal during Sunday Night Football on the sidelines last night.
Oh, where is it? His own boogers?
It was his own boogers. After throwing 2 interceptions, the man now statue, Aaron Rodgers, he can't move, guys. It's over. He can't move.
It's over
in the pocket.
You mean? What do you mean it's over? His days of moving are over.
His days of moving in the pocket and being a good NFL quarterback are over.
Oh, I don't know.
But cameras caught him digging for gold.
Yeah, it happens
on the sidelines of the Jets game last night against the Steelers. Second time in 7 days that Davante Adams lost to the Steelers.
Ouch.
Odd scheduling quirk.
Hey, by the way, quick take on the Steelers. Wear those great face masks all the time. Don't worry about anything else. Bring out those jerseys all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
People raced to their social media accounts to point out that Aaron Rodgers stuck his finger in his nose and then ate whatever he pulled out.
Ayahuasca.
Dude targeted his mouth with more boogers than Davante Adams with the ball.
Wow.
Twitter user wrote.
That's a good joke.
He recently shared a new science discovery that booger eating can improve cognitive function and decision making. Another joked. Of course, Rodgers, who finished his night with just 1 touchdown pass to go with his 2 interceptions, was in no mood for quips, both during and after the Sunday Night Football contest as the Jets lost 37-15. He did admit the team's energy fell flat in the lead up to the game, leaving him and the Jets wide open for any and all put a little boogie in it jokes.
People keep saying that the Jets are good. Like,
stop saying that.
I know. Why do they keep saying that?
Because they're like, New York
media. I think it was even after the game, somebody was doing analysis and they were like, man, these Jets, they just can't catch a break. They're good. They just haven't shown it yet. Like, are they?
Best 3-9 team in the country.
Yeah.
What is this? Oh, hey. Well, why don't we hit the ejector button on this segment?
Why is Matt Rhule talking?
Sure looks that way.
Really?
What week is it? Is this live? Streamed 83 seconds ago. Week 8? Is this the week 8 press conference?
Today, it's the start of week 8.
Okay. Oh, would you like to finish this segment?
I think that you should hit pause on that.
Okay.
And then we'll bring people the press conference at the top of the hour.
In its entirety.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
College game day was in Austin over the weekend. And Scotty Scheffler was the guest picker. He played collegiate golf at Texas. Won a Big 12 individual championship his freshman year in 2015. Did you know that, Connor?
No.
Okay. But beyond Scheffler picking the Longhorns to beat Georgia, the guest picker also, picks other games, including the Miami-Louisville game, a marquee matchup in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Scheffler, infamously arrested in Louisville.
This was good. I saw this clip.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't want to really talk about it, but Miami.
But Miami. I would never pick Louisville. Couldn't be me.
That guy's funny. He's got it all.
That was a great way to play it. And he played it that way. It was fun.
Way to go, Chef.
And he picked the game correctly.
Yeah. Few do.
Miami they're not a wagon, but they just keep pulling it out of their tuchus, don't they?
Oh yeah, they've been saved many times by powers that they have no control over.
And then this isn't really one of the 3 funniest things that happened this weekend. It's just an excuse for Connor to gas up his guy, Pedro Martinez. And tell you how much he loves seeing Pedro Martinez on a telecast. During the New York Yankees winning the ALCS in just 5 games over the Cleveland Guardians, the series proved to have its share of late game theatrics. Juan Soto's go-ahead 3-run homer in the top of the 10th inning during Saturday's Game 5 clincher for the Yanks. As it turns out, not everyone was surprised by the late-game heroics. TBS MLB studio analyst Pedro Martinez called his shot before Soto went yard. Inside the NBA does this where they record the guys watching the game, and if anything happens, they'll play it afterwards. They did that for the baseball guys. And Pedro Martinez looks at everybody and he says, 3-run Ding Dong Johnson.
And
Juan Soto hit a 3-run Ding Dong Johnson.
Way to go, Juan Soto.
The psychic, Pedro Martinez, Shahadi, commended the 3-time Cy Young Award winner.
Shahadi. That's a nice little crew they got over there.
Yeah, and then they obviously aired that, had some fun with it during the post-game show. 3-run Ding Dong Johnson.
Pedro does the who's Pedro's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ever since he famously said the Yankees were my daddy back in the day. Yeah, we love Pedro. Team Pedro. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, I just really wanted you to talk about your guy.
All right, coming up, Matt Rhule's press conference. We will have it for you on a bit of a tape delay. Don't worry. We start when we start, okay? We're done going on everybody else's time. We're going to be on our own
You
time.
wait for me, Matt Rhule.
Back after this with a very intriguing Monday press conference, may I add. Coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. It is Monday, or the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, and on 1620thezone.com. Stay tuned. A little bit later on the show, we'll have your opportunity to get in for free to the exhibition, Creighton and Purdue, which is coming up this Saturday, notably at a very different time than Nebraska plays Ohio State. But on that, it is Ohio State week, and Matt Rhule has to, unfortunately for him, start off the week with a press conference. Let's go out to Memorial Stadium.
A lot of credit to Indiana for playing really, really a clean football game, and B, just not our best football in any area. So disappointing. It's just kind of an opportunity for us to kind of get back today and get to work and try to improve that. We have obviously a great test ahead of us, but we're excited to move forward. So with that, I'll take all your guys' questions.
You watched the defensive film. What were your main takeaways about why you struggled on defense to that level?
Yeah, we struggled at the corner position, so they isolated some one-on-one throws and those are 50-50 balls, so you should come down, you should win 50% of the time. And they won most of them. So then we were kind of maybe a little bit more off, and they took a lot of free access. But really, the game came down to me to the run game. We were not able to stop the run, and really, in some cases, in some, like as I said the other day, like some inexplicable, like we're blitzing into the run, and there's an unblocked defender, and we just didn't tackle, didn't play well. In the second half, go back for that game now. It's 14-7 with 4 minutes left in the first half. We call that the middle eight. The first four. We've been historically very good in that area, and we weren't good. And you as a head coach, I think you always have to start with like, what do I regret? What do I not regret? Coming out in the second half, it's 28-7. We drive the ball down there. It's 4th and 8, 4th and 9. Probably should have kicked the field goal there. The analytics say no. The analytics say go for it. And there's a big part of me that wants to show the guys like you're always playing to win, and it felt like a lot of times in that game we were playing not to lose. And I think defensively, the minute you lose that edge of I'm playing to win, where you're trying not to lose, a really good defense becomes very average very quickly. And so, but I put them in harm's way in the second half by going for 4th down, trying to get back in the game. At the same time, I probably should have done it. I don't know that I regret it, if that makes sense. Like I kept saying to Giff on the sidelines, hey, I can't wave the white flag. I can't not try to get back in this game. But to answer your question, so I think that's what made the score so bad. But we from the very beginning, we were not tackling at the level we're capable of. We were not that first 4th and 3rd and 1. If an unblocked defender there, doesn't make the play. So we just was bad all around.
Were going for none, and they were getting them for 20. How would you size up just the perimeter blocking and where that's at right now?
Our perimeter blocking has been a deficiency for us the entire year and continues to be. Like even on the first drive, the second drive of the game, you think about the game, right? We start with the ball on the 1 yard line. We get a couple first downs, we punt the ball. Then the next drive, we drive the ball all the way down to the 15 yard line. We fumble. But they blitz off the edge. We have a bubble screen out there. Should get thrown out there. Doesn't get thrown out there. Okay, whatever. Well, on the first drive of the second half, we kick it out there, and Jacory just gets tackled because we don't block the safety. There's an execution component of all this that I hate when coaches say, "Well, we just didn't execute." Right? Like that's like a cop out. But what I don't like is missed assignments. What I don't like is not knowing what to do. And so in many areas. Things happened fast in that game. They pressured us. We kicked the ball out, and either we run into the defender, or we don't make the block. So that whole component of our game was lacking, and it's something that they did. They did, on the goal line. They did it at a high level. They did a couple times. They took advantage of their RPOs. So it's an area that we have to be better at.
What's your challenge to your assistant coaches as they take the players through both the fundamental drills and just the preparation this week for how they can get the players better in a short amount of time?
Yeah, Keith told me, I do a good job in season of just staying very locked in and not reading stuff and listening to stuff. But Keith kind of said like, hey, he said to me, hey, your statement of I didn't see this coming gained traction. To which I would say, and I'm just going to get your point. If I saw this coming, then you guys should all be very nervous. Like I thought we were going to play well, and I thought we had a great bye week, and we legitimately, Sam, I'm telling you, we legitimately like worked on these things over and over. Now, sometimes, I mean, no one's going to want to hear this. Sometimes maybe it'll show up this week, maybe it'll show up the next week, but like these are not things we haven't done all year, all spring. You know, we got to that moment, and you know, we just didn't do the things I know we're capable of doing, and so. I hate when coaches walk in after games and say, hey, that's on me. Like, but I really felt that way because like, I know what we're capable of doing and we didn't do it. Like we just weren't ready for that moment. We weren't ready for that game. We weren't ready and it felt like that all the way up, even in pregame, it felt awesome. So to your point, I think there's a challenge sent to the coaches. There's also a challenge sent to the players. These are grown men. Like you're supposed to block that guy, block him. There's a couple of plays. Emmett spins out of one, and if the guy would have blocked the safety on the backside, he'd gone for a touchdown. Like I just show the guys as a team how much we all affect each other. You know, a missed block on a bubble screen leads to a 4th and 8 pick, which leads to the ball going all the way down to the 20, which leads to a touchdown. Like everyone's got to do their job and do it at a high level. So, you know, to me, this happened to us. We allowed it to happen. It stunk. It hurt. We'll find out a lot about ourselves moving forward. You know. We'll find out about the coaches. We'll find out about the players. We'll find out about me. The last thing we're going to do is sit around and be victims, you know? So yeah, you know, there's areas that we struggled in that game, but at the same time, we haven't struggled tackling like we did in that game. Like we haven't struggled getting off blocks. Like we haven't struggled like guys, we haven't done that. And so we did it in that game. So I think today we took a deep step back and then we'll attack the week.
You had 5 turnovers in the last 6 quarters. I think before that you only had 3 in 22 quarters. I mean, particularly in the passing game, what are you seeing? Why is Dylan forcing throws or throws not there? Are teams playing different looks on Dylan? I mean, why are the interceptions there now that maybe weren't there at the beginning of the year?
I think a smarter coach probably would have just settled the game. Like when you're down 35-7, would have settled the game down. I just, in my mind, the long game is that Dylan's going to have to learn how to play in those moments, right? Like intense pressure, trying to get the team back in the game. So we probably could have minimized that. Like, you know, you go through the interceptions, you know, the first one's 4th and 8. Like I think if Thomas came up here, he would say, man, I have the defender outside me. I'm supposed to hook in on double, you know, it's an option route. He caught that on the first down. If I would have turned in and read the coverage right, Dylan would have thrown me the ball. It'd have been a first down. The thing about Dylan is Dylan's not going to walk in the postgame press conference and say, hey, those ones aren't on me. You know, he's just going to walk in and say, I have to play better. And he does. We all have to play better. But, you know, so we're a crucial 4th and 8. Like if the game's a little different, maybe we kick that field goal. Dylan, he doesn't have that one there. You know, then the one with the scramble, you know, he's scrambling to his left. Jacory sees him scramble, so he throws it to Jacory. Jacory takes off because that's how we teach scramble. Just kind of a tough play. So the third one's a batted ball. So yeah, we don't want any of those, and those aren't excuses to them. But everything's not just always kind of as it seems. I thought Dylan did a lot of really, really good things in the game. Unfortunately, the game plan we had going in when it hit 28-7 kind of starts to alter a little bit, right? Like, all right, well, we're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more than we maybe wanted to. Indiana's an elite pass rush team. And so our hope was to be able to mix the run and the pass when it got away from us. But I don't think people are doing anything differently. I think, you know, each week we're facing better teams, and we have to continue to improve and play better. And that all goes together, right? We're talking about the perimeter blocking. Like you have to be able to kick a bubble out and have a guy go for 30. You know, Steve, you asked me after the game, like we need a run to pop for 80. Everyone can't get tackled by the ankles. And so, you know, instead of, you know, my main thing in life as a coach is not to panic, not to overreact, not to change everything, just keep getting better at it until you're the best at it that they are. And so, but I wanted Dylan to stay in there in that game, in that situation. I wanted him to have to battle through all that. You know, he suffered, you know, he went through 3 interceptions. He suffered through that, and hopefully we get a little bit better as we move forward. But I think he's playing well. I really do. It might not seem that way to everybody, but I think when I watch the tape, I like most of everything that he's doing, and we'll just keep building off it because the teams get better and better.
Along those lines, no panic, no overreact. Do you have to be wary of anything with the players because of the nature of that loss? Is it any different when it's 56-7? What you look out for in the locker room on the practice field?
I think you're doing that every week, right? You know, I think if you have the right team, the right group of men in the room, and you know, if anything, 56-7 should snap you back to reality, right? Like it's again, you know, it's like, you know, we had some success defensively the last game. And all of a sudden, I'm more worried about success leading to complacency than I do about coming back from something hard. I mean, you go back and watch the tape now. If you watch the coach's tape 2 or 3 times, we should have sacked guys. So the guys that were like all over the news interviews and all over Twitter talking about how many sacks they have, or they didn't show up in that game, right? So to me, I'm worried about complacency. And I really trust our players. I think our players just have to settle down and go back to the drawing board. You have a bunch of veteran players who, we've had a couple opportunities to get to these big moments, and we've gotten there. It's just kind of fallen a little bit flat, right? So last year, Michigan, right? And then we rebound from that, right? And then we get ourselves to 5-3, and then we just can't quite get over the hump. And then here we are. Colorado, to me, was a breakthrough, right? Like, hey, a big moment. We went and played it. And then, Illinois has proven to be a pretty good team, right? They just beat Michigan on the road, but that was a good game back and forth. But we got to overtime, and it just kind of looked like that game, right? And now here we are on the road against Indiana, a team I felt we were prepared for, and it fell flat. So part of my job is getting us to, not fall flat, right? I'm not saying we were flat. I'm saying the effort falling flat. But I don't worry about our guys not competing. I really honestly don't. That's the least of my worries. I don't.
How do you work, given what you've said about how you want to have your overall offensive approach, how do you go about working around a struggling run game?
Yeah. I think you stay very focused on like what it is, right? Like I think it all comes together. Like what people do again, like when people just line up and play us straight up, we run the ball pretty well. You might not, maybe people, I believe that. When people pressure us, they blitz us, we struggle. Like we just out and out struggle. And so how do you relieve that? You relieve that with RPOs and kicking the ball out in the screen. But when we do that, even we have numbers, we're not getting what we want. And so it's a challenge. And it's just one that I think you have to, what do you do? Put in a whole bunch of new runs? No, you just, to me, you go back and say, what can we do? What can we do better? And then the shame of that game is, you get down there, you run the power. I mean, if you see the block by Liebentritt on that power, I mean, he absolutely rocks their Mike linebacker. The ball gets up inside. We get the first down. It's 7-0. Maybe we make it 7-7. We feel better about the run game. We fumble the ball. Then it's 28-7. And you're kind of like, all right, we're kind of out of the run here, guys. We're going to have to drop back and throw it. And I don't know that we're going to be necessarily real successful for a full game, just dropping back and throwing it 50 times. So when you watch the drop back game, we do a decent job in that game of dropping back and finding people open. So yeah, that is what makes us difficult, right? You have to try to run the ball to get some consistency. You're not running it, but I think it's going back and saying, what exactly are they doing? They're pressuring us, they're blitzing us, and our effectiveness throwing RPOs and run alerts and blitz relief has not been great. So trying to build off that somehow, some way.
Matt, Jamari Butler said after the game that the defense at times would have lost their confidence against Indiana. He said they would slump their shoulders, what have you, after some big plays. Do you think this team has a confidence issue?
No, but I do think, if I'm going to be completely honest, my battle since I've been here has been the here we go again, which is predates us. It's like, oh, here we go again. Whether it's just the constant narratives of tough losses or, we were having some success early. The local narrative is always very much like, here's what they're not good at, right? So our kids are reading what they're not good at. And that's life. I'm not complaining about that. It's just, you want to complain in Nebraska, like you deal with it. So when things go wrong, we naturally, in that game, to me, kind of, in some ways, it looked like sunk back into like, here we go again. And I'm not saying that I saw that. Okay. I didn't feel that during the game. I was competing to the end, but that's, as I talk to people, that's kind of what they said. I think it always comes down to just football. Like if you're supposed to be in the B gap, then be in the B gap. Like don't go to the A gap. Like touchdown hits because you're in the wrong gap. So whether that's confidence or whatever. But it's the first time we've been down, right? We've been up in every football game for pretty much most of the game, right? And then all of a sudden now we're down for one. So this is a great opportunity for our guys. It's like a gut check to say like, hey, if every time we're down, we're going to talk about our confidence, then like, man, we better start handing out participation trophies. Like this is a game for men to go out and battle and fight. And you find out a lot about yourself when you get knocked down. We were knocked down in the second half. We were knocked down of that game. You come back, you don't point fingers. Like I didn't think the guys threw their helmets or acted foolish. You took the loss. As bad as that loss felt, it's the same as losing 7-6. You're 5-2. Find the things you're good at, build off them, work on the things you're not good at, come back the next week and go compete. So all those other things like confidence and all that. I mean, I think those are. I was very direct with the team. Like, we're not going to make a bunch of excuses. Like, we just didn't play well enough. Go play better. Go coach better.
The tempo that you guys used at a couple spots offensively in the first half and had some success with, is that with the system that you want to play and being a defensive oriented team, especially against that offense that, in the offense you'll see this week, is it hard to use that more consistently, that tempo, and have it fit into your style, your game plan?
I think anytime you're playing well, and executing, like, Michigan won the national championship last year in the huddle. A ton of teams that are in no huddle. I really honestly believe it kind of comes down to like blocking, making plays, winning your one-on-ones, making guys miss. So my natural inclination would be to always play with some tempo. I think it's just hard to run the defense. At the same time, we're living in a world of signal stealing still and all those things. So sometimes it's easier to get in the huddle. You're facing an offense that's we weren't playing great defensively. Sometimes it's easier maybe to slow it down a little bit. But my natural inclination would probably always be to play with some tempo just to keep people on their heels. But I think every game's a little bit different, right? I think every game you're trying to identify, what you do well, what they don't do well. Again, when the game got to 28-7 and 35-7, we kind of aborted what we had hoped to do and tried to adjust a little bit.
There was another Big Ten coach this weekend whose team struggled with tackling. He said tackling is actually the hardest thing for a defensive player to do. In your experience, is that accurate? And what is challenging about tackling a team like Ohio State and trying to fix something in the middle of the week before you play?
Yeah, I thought Monungai from Rutgers was an excellent back, and we didn't tackle him great on the first series, and then after that, I thought we kind of settled in, right? Now we tackled a lot during that week to get prepared for him. I thought a lot of our issues in this game were us. We're what we call a gap and a half team. Like if I'm playing outside of Rob and I'm playing this gap, but I also come inside. I thought you saw a lot of guys on defense ripping and swimming up the field like everything was a pass and it was a run. Like we didn't adjust to, hey, they're running the football on us. And so a lot of balls got to the safeties. I think when you're asking a safety to tackle a big-time back with 53 and a third, that's a lot. That's hard to do. So I thought a lot of our issues maybe started up front in the fits. Tackling, especially as you go on throughout the course of the year, pad level, fundamentals, and tackling are the first things to go. And so if you can find a way to practice those moving forward, as you go through it. The disappointing thing about last week was it was coming off a bye where we took a lot of time to work on the fundamentals. And that's kind of when I go back, to the question earlier about perimeter blocking, like I do believe we're repping those, but anytime something doesn't show up, we're not going to just throw it on the kids. Hey, you guys got to execute. We have to rep it until it's good enough. And tackling wasn't an issue against Rutgers. It was in this game. It'll certainly be a challenge versus a running game like Ohio State's. I know we want to talk about last week, but we have a heck of a challenge in front of us this week. And if you go out there against Ohio State and you don't challenge them and you just want to bail and play off coverage and hope that you don't get beat, you're going to get run off the field with these guys. You got to go out there and compete. If a team beats you because they're better, they beat you because they're better. But you got to go challenge people. And that wasn't we weren't that way on Saturday to many degrees, and so we have to be better.
Matt, are your receivers getting the separation you want downfield in terms of getting open and some of those things when you look at the big picture of those receivers right now?
Yeah, I think we had a lot of guys open a lot of the day. I thought, but I do think that when we're getting pressed and press man, we're not doing a good enough job. I mean, we're not doing a good enough job of getting releases and getting off press. So I think it's twofold, right? I think it's kind of like I talked to you guys about last year. If you give us zone coverage, we have guys running wide open, right? And I do think we're pretty good at running by people and throwing the ball up to them. We didn't do it a ton. We threw that one to back shoulder to Jamal on the touchdown drive. But I think you go back and look at the tape. Like if I made a cut up of the press reps where we didn't beat the guy off the line, and some of them were really bad, like just really, really, really bad. But there are guys open, at other times too. So I think it's very specific to me to beating press and getting off press. And we have a lot of guys that want to play pro football, and they come here to get a degree and then win and then go on and play pro football. And pro football is a game of press coverage and tight coverage. Even for the quarterbacks, like the guy being right here and you being that's like the throw he threw to Fedoni. Well, really two throws, that and then the over out, like that's open in the NFL. And so I think our guys are going to have to recognize that people are going to come out and press us and play man, and we got to win. And then we have to go out and press people and play man. We got to win. And everybody wants the play callers to design a play where the blitzer comes free or the guy's wide open, right? But when you face good teams, very rarely Sat's job and Tony's job to me is to get a guy one-on-one. And then it's our guy's job to go win the one-on-one. And I think coming out of that game, I hope our guys understand that a little bit better. Indiana was a good defense, and they challenged us.
How you guys doing injury-wise? I know Dylan and Nash were both limping around a little bit. Just come out of that one.
Yeah, Nash hurt his knee, but he went back in and played. I assume he'll be fine. Dylan's fine. Ramir left the game early, and Deshaun left the game early, and I'm not sure their status yet for next week as we go through the week. They're in the head injury protocol.
You last year after the Michigan game had kind of a shock the system kind of Sunday, different, shake it up, whatever the intent was there. Anything that you did differently moving into this week that you hope can have a similar effect?
Yeah, I thought this was different than the Michigan game. This was just we sat there for the last 2 hours and watched the game, like the first half as a team, coaches, staff, and players. Which I like to do. I learned it from Coach Coughlin. We call it's like the Blue Angels or the Navy SEALs. They debrief after every mission and guys take ownership. But really, I just want them to see how it all fits together, right? Like, again, a bubble screen thrown to the left where you forget to block the safety that leads to 2nd and 10, that then leads to 4th and 8, which then leads to the ball in the 20. I just want them to see how interrelated they all are. Because when we're out there, sometimes we're like, what's happening? But it's just make the block. Like, just do your job. Like, just do your assignment. Like, and it's easy to talk about that a lot when you're 5-1 and you only trailed for 6 minutes in the whole season. But when you're getting your tail kicked, like we got our tail kicked, it's easy to go back and show them, well, okay, I know it was bad, but let's look at this. If we did this, if we did that, if we did this, if we did that, and hope that it grounds them and brings them back, right? And also pulls them away from, again, some of the narratives of we stink or this stink. Like, it's all interrelated. It's all interrelated. So, if you catch the kickoff and don't catch it at the 2, catch it at the, let the ball go out of bounds, get the ball. Imagine we let the ball go out of bounds, get it to 35, then we get 2 first downs like we did. Now the whole game's different. And so, I want them to see that, and I want them to also see, like, Indiana came out and challenged us. I don't know how well we challenged them, and so I'm taking that personally. Now you're facing the best team, the best team in the country, the best roster in the country, whatever they are, number 4, unbelievable team. If we spend the whole game playing Ohio State, looking at the scoreboard, hoping to win, we'll get our face beat in. If we go out there and challenge them, because we all think we're good football players and we want to play in the NFL, and their players are going to play in the NFL. So if you're an NFL player and I'm an NFL player, then I should compete with you. If I back down from you, then I'm not really an NFL player. So I want our guys to go out there and compete and see what happens. And then I want to come home and play UCLA and do the same thing and do it for 5 games. And we've been on a journey of a season. This was a real down point. See how we respond.
It's a broad question about Ohio State and that roster you just mentioned. Is revenue sharing maybe reshape the advantage that they're going to have in the future? Is it level the playing field going forward?
Well, I want to first give credit to Ryan Day, okay, in that those guys are at Ohio State because Ohio State wins, and players want to go to a winner, okay? So while there is an NIL component to everybody, Ryan's won, right? Urban won, Jim Tressel won. Ohio State's won a ton. And so kids want to go be a part of one of the best programs in the country, right? Why, best receiving corps over the last however many years, great, all first-round quarterbacks. But to your point, I just don't know if we know how revenue sharing is going to work yet. There's still no manual been handed out of, like, here's how it's going to work. But in theory, if everyone has the same dollar figures, then you should bring about more parity. On the flip side of that, no one knows the impact of NIL. But to me, Ohio State's roster is not about NIL. It's about guys saying, hey, I want to go play at a place that competes for championships. And, so for us, like for us to get to that point, we've got to win enough to justify players taking a chance on us until we're at the top of the mountain, and then everyone wants to come. So, you can't have many 56-7 wins, right? Games, you gotta go compete at a high level. But we'll get there.
You worked Micus on the left tackle. Was that a pretty easy move for him?
I'd say it's probably really challenging. He's never really truly. I thought it was a lot of guts by him to want to go out there and play. We worked it we worked it the week before. So he's really doing it on, the Rutgers game and then the bye week and then this week. And I thought he did a nice job when he was out there. And so, when Mike is focused like he is right now, he's really talented and he can help us. So it was good to get him out there and get him in the mix.
You talked about getting rid of that "here we go again" narrative. I mean, how do you set the example personally when that's existing to block that out?
Just deal in fact, deal in reality. Just watch the tape, right? Like, to me, as I said to the guys to start the meeting today, when something like Saturday occurs and you're at your lowest, you first start with you, like, what can I do better? And then you turn to the tape. You don't read about, or listen to the guys in the locker room talking about, well, I think it was this, I think it was that. Like, you just, hey, okay, go back. What did I not do well enough? All right. Like I said to you guys right off the bat, I probably should have kicked a field goal, made that 28-10, and just hit the ball back across, right? But watch the film. Like, even before I showed the team to the film this morning, I watched it. The game's over. I watched it on the plane on the way back. I watched it yesterday twice, and I watched it again this morning one more time, because all the answers are on the tape, and just like, hey guys, look at this, look at this, look at this. I think when you do that, you start with reality and you start with yourself. It doesn't ever feel like it's me versus them. I'm not sitting up there saying you guys didn't do this and you guys didn't do that. We didn't play our best game in any way. And that was a team that was going to try to embarrass you if you let them. And so we took the loss, we come back and we regroup.
Was that at all that beginning of the third quarter moment there? In your mind, is it all your decision impacted by the confidence level you have in your ability to kick field goals? And where do you feel about that, moving into these last 5
we would have made that field goal. It was really more based on, again, the analytics are saying you go for it, right? And we hadn't really stopped them. I mean, I said that in the meeting today, and most of the guys on defense disagreed. They were like, screw that, coach, play to win. So, like, I'm just saying for me, I got, I just don't know if you're going to lose, I don't want to lose, but if you're going to lose, how do you want to lose? And that's the challenge in those situations, right? You don't want to be in those situations, so you're not having to make these decisions, but it's like, should we just run the ball and get out of Dodge? And then, or should we, let Dylan have those reps of playing through that situation? Should we let the guy, Jacory, have to go compete? We chose to do that. We put a lot of our twos in the fourth quarter. Those guys are going to play a lot of football. We let them play. But no, I think our field goal kicking is honestly, it's improving in practice. We just haven't had many opportunities to do it. I think Johnny's, he's getting better and better and better. That was purely to me, hey, the analytics said to go for it out to 4th and 11. Once you cross the 50 on that drive, it was just like, you only have so many more drives left, man. Like, let's go make one. But that being said, maybe hindsight, just the impact that loss has on the players, the visual of it. But that's why I keep going back to them. Like, just remember now it's 14-7 with 4 minutes left. So let's just play a little bit better at the end of the half and come out of the half. Maybe we go down there and score. We move the ball great. Something could have been different.
Ohio State, Ohio State question. What are the eye-popping elements of Ohio State's offense?
Their run game. Yeah, I mean they can it's Chip Kelly, right? He's going to find a way to run the ball. I mean, they can run the ball any which way. They have an elite offensive line and defensive line. I mean, they have elite guys up front. But they're not spread tempo anymore. Like they're the quarterback run game. They've got 2 great tailbacks. Their tailbacks are special, but they create all different kinds of angles, and they're going to run a lot of different run schemes. They'll play with 2 tight ends, and then they've got outstanding receivers who, if you play one-on-one, they'll go to them. So they've got great players. They start with the run game to create one-on-ones to throw the ball, and then they have the QB run game, which as is a great equalizer. So. Really outstanding football team.
How do you think that he did with his limited opportunities that he got?
Yeah, I thought Henry did well in the things that he got a chance to do. Also went in and played some, played on punt team, played out at receiver, a player too. So, he's a good football player. We're just trying to get him on the field and trying to increase that as we move forward. So, it's hard in that, when he goes out there, people kind of know, like, hey, he's going to probably be running the football. So, but he can throw it, and so maybe the role will increase or decrease each week. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. That is Matt Rhule's Monday press conference. We have some reaction. Let's have big Rhule overreaction here. Coming up after the break.
We need it now more than ever.
Yeah, some of the I get the sense that the comment section was not a fan of the press conference. They didn't like the press conference, Josh.
I would liken it to a tire fire.
In the comments.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll react to that. And his sort of tearing apart of that game. Hey, I don't want Mike. I'll say this before we take a break. I don't want the coach to be panicked, right? What's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to go up there and be like, "Hey, we got to change. We got to just change everything," and
nothing's working. I got to change everything.
That one game and how bad it went trumps all of the stuff all the work that we put in for the last 2 years, and we have to go ahead and throw that away and change everything. Like, no, it's not what I want. But
you definitely would not have liked that.
No. But it was interesting to hear how he sort of took apart that game. We'll have some notes and some thoughts on the other side as we continue on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. A reminder, though, of course, to join the VIP club and sign up for 1620 The Email. You could be the first to know about all the exciting things that are happening right here at 1620 The Zone. If you are a email subscriber, your picks are open for $25,000 4-quarter pick'em, where you could win $2,500 each week. Looks like we'll have our winner tomorrow, and we'll see how that looks for you all. We're not included in the drawing, Josh.
That's right, not eligible.
I don't think that I did very well this past week.
Oh no!
If we're being completely honest,
you were tied at the top of the leaderboard.
We'll see. We'll see on that. We will continue on with more of the Connor Happer Show next on 1620 The Zone. We've received several correspondences.
Oh, have we?
During and since that press conference. Yeah.
Probably just, everybody thinks a little differently. Probably very mixed reviews on that presser.
Here's and before we get to the opinions, the opinion alerts, the I have an opinions out there. Jason tweets in.
Hi, Jason.
He says there's basically nothing he could do or say until maybe next season that will change opinions.
Next season?
Just the way it is for a while. Yeah, because I don't know, like winning one more game. They beat Wisconsin and Iowa. If Nebraska wins, they lose this week against Ohio State, obviously. Then they beat UCLA, and then they beat. I don't know. They could still win 9 games. I don't know. Bounce right back, guys. Untether yourself. I don't know, but that would get people back if they beat.
Yes, if they won out.
USC, UCLA, Wisconsin, and Iowa, I think people would be back if that was the case. But then and only then. So here's the main thing. Dave writes in, I can't decide if the collective freak out in the chat is hilarious or embarrassing. Yeah, a lot going on. A lot going on in the chat.
Right.
So I'll meta with you here a little bit. And I knew this would be a spin-off of the talking point today of the show. How do you want to lose? It's not a great question. Not one of the best questions. Not a great question.
Not an answer.
I like working at McDonald's, but do you want to work at McDonald's? Okay. How'd you get here? How do you want to work at McDonald's? So how do you want to lose? Nebraska chose to throw it around, and it looked pretty bad. And he being Matt Rhule, is putting a lot of the credit for the way that the game turned out, 56-7, on that. See, I don't think that Nebraska's. This is, by the way, a good time to bring up the question: is 49-50, Josh? I don't think Nebraska's 50 points worse than Indiana, but they played probably about 50 points worse than Indiana on Saturday. I mean, they played so bad, right? So I don't think saying, "Hey, well, we could have just ran it and gotten out of there and lost blank to blank."
42-7, and then we all would have felt much better.
See, I don't know. I don't know about that. Zach emails into the show.
Hi, Zach.
He says that's a BS cop-out. Satterfield came out chucking the ball from the beginning. Something like 8 of the first 9 plays were pass plays. That's Satterfield. That's him being a loser and getting pass happy. That's not Indiana forcing Nebraska to pass it more than they should. So just so we're all clear here, Nebraska in the first quarter passed it 9 times, ran it 7. And they were down only 7-0 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, they ran it 7 times. They passed it 12. In the third quarter, they passed it 17 times and ran it 9. In the fourth quarter, they passed it 8 and they ran it 6. I would say at some point in that fourth quarter, obviously because Heinrich Haarberg came in the game and ran the offense for a little while, Nebraska was not like fighting to stay in the game, because that's the way he made it sound. That was sort of the excuse that he used. It was, well, I wanted to show our guys, I wanted to put Dylan through these, like he took him out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
if we're going to die, we're going to die swinging,
Yeah.
If we die, we die.
And I don't know if they really did that either.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I want it to be, I think what he's making it seem like is, hey, we did a noble thing. We played. We continued to play. I don't know that I buy it. I don't know that I buy
Many
it.
things people are not buying in the comments section, Connor.
Joel writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Joel.
Lose by 49 or 4. Either way, maybe look prepared and as if you actually had a plan off of a damn bye week. Mustache Adam says,
Hi, Mustache.
and the question of how'd you like to lose as painfully and as early as possible so I can move on with my day.
There's a little something to that. But
I don't know, man.
Many people did not agree with Rhule's assessment of it's the same as losing 7-6.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think.
I know what
to
he
his
means
assessment,
when he says that.
To his assessment of we could have just gotten out. Like, I don't think he actually said this, but like, hey, we could have just gotten out of there at a certain point and ran it and went home.
Yeah, we could have ran clock.
I don't think that he's right.
Mhm.
Nebraska played like they lost 50, like they deserved to lose 56-7 for how badly they played.
They played terribly and stuck their face into a buzzsaw.
That score was representative of how bad they played.
Mhm.
It was. A lot of times the scores aren't. That score was representative of how bad they played, and I don't think there was really any ways, based on how poorly they were playing, to mitigate the fact that they were going to lose that game by 50. 49 is 50, Josh.
That's right.
I didn't. So I don't know that I agree with you. I don't know that I agree with the assessment. I don't know if there nobility. Is there nobility in what they did and how they played? I don't care personally. Noble or not.
I think that's the way he has to do it so that he can come back and like, hey guys, I tell you all the time, never quit. And then on Saturday I told you to quit. Well, that's different because it's a game and we want to keep it like, no, you gotta stay consistent in the
and
messaging.
They were, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like we kept playing. We kept playing and we kept playing and we kept playing. Like I think Nebraska would have lost by a lot on Saturday. And we'd be having the same conversation. I don't think what they did and how they continued to quote unquote play, I don't think that's affecting the conversation today. I think Nebraska lost by almost 50 points, and they earned that. They earned that on Saturday, right? I think that's I don't know what he's trying to say, but I could feel as he was saying that, and I could feel it during the game that this was going to be a talking point afterwards. Hey, I know we didn't say this, but like basically, didn't you appreciate how we stuck in? Like that'll help us down the line. I don't know. I don't know. So back going through the press conference. Defense struggled at the corner position. They won most of the 50-50 balls, not able to stop the run. Were even blitzing into the run and didn't make the plays. Says they should have kicked a field goal to go down 28-10 on the first drive of the second half, and then he was pressed on it later, and he said, "Oh no, yeah, we would have made that. I don't know, weren't tackling."
Easy for you to say on Monday afternoon.
Yeah. Perimeter blocking has been a deficiency for us the entire year and continues to be. Mr. Simons not knowing what to do. He reiterated that he thought that they would play well. Had a great bye week. Nobody's going to want to hear this, but we didn't do the things that I know we're capable of doing. And even in the pregame, he said it felt awesome. Sometimes, he said, these are grown men. Sometimes you're supposed to block that guy. The guy you're supposed to block him. You're assigned to block that guy, block him. So
people in the chat did not like that either.
what I thought we were going to get which was, hey, we got to double down on the process. And also what I thought people wouldn't like, we got that. There was no like, here's your red meat to make you feel better. Go, you're the tiger. You're Mike Tyson's tiger. Here, take this for a while and then take a nap afterwards. No. I don't think that there was much of that. It was Rhule of like, listen to me. We are in this bathroom with the tiger, and we're gonna stay in this bathroom with the tiger. There's no distraction. I have no steak to give the tiger. You are the steak. We are the steak. We are going to be the tiger food. We're gonna fight this tiger. Quote from Matt Rhule: "We're going to fight this tiger." Some people don't like to fight the tiger. People don't like to fight the tiger.
It went about like I expected, but the reaction, which I knew was coming, is still filled with more vitriol than I thought it would be.
Yeah. And then, so we can talk about this as we finish out the hour. The "here we go again" thing and how it predates them. And Rhule basically ended that comment with, hey, look, if you're supposed to be in the B gap, be in the B gap.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of watching the game over again was, hey, we're going to watch this again, and we're going to show you how the decisions that you make affect other people, but not only the decisions, like we want you to do it's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Do your job.
There's no "here we go again." It's "you're in the wrong spot again."
But for whatever reason, Nebraska and Matt Rhule can't get these guys to do their jobs. They can't to do their jobs.
Open the Troy Yogurt Man, Mr. Yogurt Man. Find the world's best sports psychologist. Find the world's second best sports psychologist, and send them both to Lincoln. Because they need some couch time.
Do they need some couch time? Maybe.
I'll do it.
We'll take calls after this. Your thoughts as well. Sam McKewon will join us at the top of the hour. But to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com. Andy tweeted us a clip from The Natural. Losing is a disease as contagious as polio, as contagious as syphilis, as contagious as the bubonic plague. Losing is a disease. Why is it that way? It's so true, though. It just sucks everything. You lose, and it just
pop a couple Valtrex and get back out there, my man.
I was trying to think like, yeah, you got to fight and you got to compete and all that stuff. Like, I guess it's because you're trying to. When you lose, you stop probably becoming so process oriented. Focus on the things that got you there, all those things, and you start just focusing on how to win. We have to win. We have to do and then the pressure builds, and it builds, and it builds, and you just get sicker and sicker and sicker. I hope we're not going down that road.
It's that Breaking Bad, oh God gif.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a bad one. All right, to the phones, 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Here's Russ. Russ, you're on the show. What's up?
Good afternoon, fellas from Virginia. I've got several questions, if that's okay.
You ask as many questions as you'd like, Russ.
Thank you. I just heard him say he likes a running quarterback when it's necessary. It appears Dylan doesn't like to run, and I'm not trying to tear down Dylan. He's going to be a good quarterback, as everybody says. He also can't pass against man, and that's when they blitz. So there's your that. But my question is, didn't they hire a quarterback whisperer from the Steelers or from Pittsburgh area?
Yeah. Yes. They hired a different quarterback coach. He's still there.
Yeah. And then would Bill Callahan had a Kevin Cosgrove, if you guys remember, that he refused to let go. And I'm wondering, you can pick either one of two names. Would either Satterfield or Foley be our current Cosgrove?
So you're asking wait a minute. I don't understand the question. Are you asking?
Okay. Bill Callahan had a real problem.
Right.
He had a defensive coordinator named Kevin Cosgrove who just could not get the job done.
Right.
He refused to replace him.
Right.
And that cost him his job.
Sure. I'll go along with that. Yeah.
It appears to me from a television viewer's perspective that we have a current Callahan type, if you will, either in Satterfield or Ed Foley. Both of those men are coaching, and Rhule said, I want to pound the ball. Satterfield loves to put air under the ball. There's a problem there.
Yeah.
When you step out on the one, there's a problem there.
Right. Oh, yeah. There's definitely a problem there. That's for sure. Yep. So should
they be replaced, or what? I mean, what do we do? We just hang with them like we did Kevin Cosgrove?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it in the middle of the season, but
I'm not saying middle of the season. Maybe it should have been done, but there's a lot of griping last year. But anyway, those are my situations, guys. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Russ. I appreciate the call.
Good talk, Russ.
Good talk, son. Think I stabbed my brain.
I don't know anything. I don't talk to people. I'm not wrangling up sources or anything. This is wild speculation. I don't think you have to worry about Ed Foley anymore
after the season.
Yeah. Just
you probably still have to worry about it for 5 more games, though.
Yeah.
That's problematic.
That is worrisome. But
yeah, I don't want to be the fire in the coach show, but I don't know. They got to change something.
Yeah, feels like that's an easy one to change.
Yep, there.
Not a lot you can explain away and go, well, yeah, but he's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you just hope that the loyalty, I guess, doesn't get in the way. I don't know. Like he's definitely stuck by his guys, but you have felt. I have felt I don't want to put this on you guys, but like I have felt that there is an enhanced sense of urgency. It's definitely at the start of the season, right? I think it all surrounded the idea of like, hey, we have this quarterback and we got to go, we got to win. He always talks about the expectation that the state has and people pay their money they've supported for a long time. Like we got to win.
We've talked about a senior laden defense with an easier schedule, quote unquote.
So I don't think Rhule is just automatically beholden to these people who he's brought with him if he feels like it's not going well. I don't think that.
I think he's been a coach long enough to understand the game.
Right? I think he's against panicking. And so there's a wide gap there of like, okay, what's panicking and what is loyalty? Right? And I don't know where he falls in that at the moment. You heard him talk about it today. They're going to double down on their process. You got to be in the B gap, be in the B gap. You got to block a guy. Frankly, yeah, that's what went wrong. But it's now like it's odd. I'm trying to figure out why it went that way. Why did it go that way? Rhule almost went there today. Is that confident? He was asked about confidence. Do you feel like you have a confident team right now? Andy Kendi asked the question. That was the question that I'm most curious about because it's like, okay, you got to be in the B gap. It's as simple as that. Yes, of course it is as simple as that. But why aren't they there? They're taught to be there. Yeah. You had a good week of practice of doing it in practice. Why aren't they there? And how do we fix that? Right? That's the thing. I know that had nothing to do with the offensive. Ready. Yeah, I know that had nothing to do with the offensive coordinator or the special teams coach, but like if it's not going the way that he wants it to go from a results perspective at the end of the year and from a process perspective, then yeah, I don't think he's beholden to those guys. I think he's an adult. He can make moves. He'll make moves. But it won't happen probably in the middle of the season.
No. Almost assuredly not.
And there are 5 games left, Josh. I know people don't want to hear this. There are 5 games left.
And they could win 10 games.
Maybe each of those 5 games will just be a death march to where we're going, which is Josh Peterson wearing a MAGA hat and eating a tomato.
So it's not a total loss.
Maybe we're headed that way. Or maybe Nebraska wins 8 and you feel fine.
Or
still on the table.
Some of us said 7 before the season and were laughed at. Roundly mocked.
You weren't mocked. 7 is a completely reasonable win total that many people were throwing out there. Shut up, Josh.
Only one person at 1620 The Zone said 7, and you all laughed at him.
I see many 7-5 predictions on the board right now.
They were copying
Mike
off of my
Farron,
paper.
Steve
Mike
Sipple,
Farron's a baseball
Positive
guy.
Jack Mitchell. Each said 7-5. He said, prove it. Were they yelling at Jack? I don't think so.
They're always yelling.
No, they're yelling at Jack for a variety. Jack's yelling at himself. Alex and Lincoln says, yeah, he fired Cooper. Yeah, he fired Cooper.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cooper.
it's like he's incapable of firing people. People always do that though. It's like he'll never make a move because he has too much loyalty, and the loyalty is going to kill you. That's what got Bill Callahan. I don't know why I'm Tom Brokaw now, but I am. Okay, that's not like each decision is evaluated separately. We're dealing with adults here.
Purdue fired their OC. Utah fired their OC. That's because their seasons are lost.
Yeah.
This season, I know it feels really, really crappy today, and you're wading through the muckety muck today, but the season is not lost. Now, I know you're going to come back next Monday and go, Josh, you said the season wasn't lost because I put the cigarette out of my nipples.
Okay, so we're not going to play it again. I like that drop, though. You just said it out loud. So
but
that's fine.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Play that one.
Yeah.
Sam McKewon's going to join us here in just a couple minutes.
Is he?
I think so. A couple quick things. Number one, Nebraska and UCLA. They'll have a football game on November 2nd, which is 1 week from this coming Saturday. So 12 days from today. Nebraska and UCLA will play each other at 2:30 p.m. on the BTN. This week, they'll play each other on the Big Fox with Gus Johnson, Joel Clark, and the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Jenny?
I love hearing it still. I don't know why.
I thought they canceled him on the whole All-American girl thing, but he still did it on Saturday.
Oh, you can't cancel that. That's a tried and true bit.
He stopped for a while, and I was wondering, did they get him? Did they get him on that All-American girl thing?
Is that demeaning?
They probably, it's like, I don't know.
You can't be talking to women like that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of objectifying, right? It's like All-American girl. Okay, what is that? But no, he went right back to it. Thank you.
Jenny is America.
She's All-American girl, Jenny Taft.
Jenny Taft is like apple pie.
Full question.
I won't do it.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. So 2:30 on BTN for Nebraska and UCLA. Also, quickly before we take a break, Josh, I have a game.
I love games. Hopefully they don't end 56-7, but I love games.
Is 49-50 is not the game.
Okay.
All right. We have a pair of Creighton-Purdue tickets. Creighton and Purdue play each other this weekend. In fact, we have multiple pairs. In fact, you know what? We're not going to give away our pairs. We're going to give away in 4-packs. 4-packs. Take the whole family, Josh. 4-packs.
Whoa.
So I have one 4-pack that I have virtually in my hand right now.
I didn't know these were 4-packs.
That's what it says. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say that they're 4-packs.
I don't read.
Okay. So, here's what I want to do. I got a whole big trivia game. Here's what you have to do. You have to call Josh Odson during the break and be the first person to tell Josh Odson 2 of the top 10 career point scorers in Creighton history. I'll give you one. It's Doug McDermott. All right. Name one more of the top 10 scorers all time in Creighton program history.
Okay.
And
that feels doable.
You'll win 4 tickets. You'll the first person to do it, and you'll win 4 tickets to this game on Saturday.
4 Saturday.
Yes.
Not at the same time as the Nebraska football
at a
game.
very different time, much later at night. Name one more. That's all you got. 402-951-1620. Call right now. We'll have plenty of chances for you guys to get into this game throughout the week. We'll get your donation covered for disaster relief here in the area. Back after this with Sam on 1620 The Zone. Before we get to Sam, I want to say Josh Hodgson is doing a great job. He's doing 100 things right now. So we're fielding calls during the break about the trivia question that I asked, which was name one more, not Doug McDermott, of the top 10 scorers in Creighton history in terms of points. And so we get a couple calls, and one guy calls in and he says Benoit Benjamin. Benoit Benjamin is 12, doesn't count. Then another guy called in and he said Benoit Benjamin. And he said, I can't accept that Benoit Benjamin answer. Wrong. And so then finally Jason just called in and Jason said Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver is correct. Kyle Korver is 6th all-time in Creighton history in scoring. He's got 1,800 points, 1,801 to be exact. And now Josh is getting his information on top of calling Sam McKewon, on top of bringing us all back from break. And so I just wanted to give a great shout out to both Jason, who won tickets to the Purdue game on Saturday, and to Josh Hodgson, who is a very good producer. And Sam McKewon, also shout out to him, who joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Sam, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Is Ryan Kalkbrenner in the top 10? He is, right?
Ryan Kalkbrenner is in the top 10. I was looking at it today. He's been around 500 points or so. He could make his way up to number 2 on this list behind only Doug, but by the time his career ends.
Hell of a player. Great career.
Hell of a player.
Pretty sweet.
There you go. Okay, Sam, today at the press conference, people were having a bit of a discussion in our chat and various other places about the right way to lose.
Right.
So I don't know that that's the biggest thing from the game, but they lost 56-7. And according to Rhule, he's basically saying, well, it could have looked a lot better from a score perspective, but we just decided to keep going with it. What do you think of that assessment of how that went?
Yeah, I think that might be accurate. I think he also is maybe assessing the wisdom of that. I think it's also possible too that the thought process is, well, let's give this kid a chance to go out there and learn something, and it may not go well, but he's going to learn what it's like to be behind and have to throw to come back. They weren't just going to pack it in. He mentioned that they could have kicked the field goal to cut it to 28-10, and at that point, are you playing to win or are you playing to not lose? And so there's a lot of different elements in there. I think the thing that I took out of today's presser, both in terms of the tone and some of the explanations, is you just can't take your team through the ringer when you've got Ohio State coming.
Yeah.
And he's not going to say that, I think, but the reality is your team needs to flush that one really quickly and just play, get back to it and play another football game. You got to get through this one. They're probably not going to win it. They're a big underdog. They just got to go play football and see where they land. And so I think this wasn't going to be we're playing Illinois this week, we're playing Purdue this week, so we can kick their butts kind of thing. It's, you hope that when you come off a really bad loss, you've got an opportunity to really make a point, because the team you're playing is beatable. And nobody's going to say that either. But Ohio State is a very challenging opponent, and Nebraska can't spend all week long, when these sort of brutal practices, beating each other up and then expect to go to Columbus and be anywhere near where they need to be. Nebraska has actually done that in the past. They've practiced really hard after bad losses, and that has not necessarily done anything for them. So I think there's a level of frustration that Rhule has right now. He said a couple things today that I thought were interesting. He's like, I promise you, we legitimately work on these things.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to hear this, but maybe it'll show up this week. Maybe it'll show up next week. I think there's a frustration in the lack of consistent execution on offense. Defensively, I think some of the things that happen can get corrected. And on top of that, when you play a team like Ohio State, there's some things that you can that you can do. And Ohio State's just going to be Ohio State. They're not going to sit there and worry too much about getting cute for Nebraska. This isn't Oregon or Michigan. So, Ohio State's just going to play its football and assume that that's going to be good enough to win by a lot of points. That can actually play to Nebraska's advantage a little bit. Of course, Indiana did that too, and Nebraska didn't compete. So, I don't know. I think in the moment on Saturday, my sense is that Rhule was pretty hot. He was pretty frustrated with his football team. And I think he might still be. And maybe a little bit of, I need to have 4 or 5 more days to figure this out and figure out where this team really is, because I don't think he recognized the team that took the field on Saturday, and I think he wants to see the team that he recognizes take the field on next Saturday.
You sort of knew that the response today was going to be, hey, look, we can't panic. We got to double down on our process and that was basically what we got from him. And you're right, Sam. I think there is a surprise from him that they can't execute things consistently. And we're trying to, I think everybody's trying to get to the bottom of why. He mentioned one time today, he goes, if you got to block a guy, if it's your job to block the guy, block the guy. If you got to be in the B gap, be in the B gap, right? And he wants people to do their roles, but apparently they can't be trusted to execute the very, very simple things. And we're just all trying to sort of get to the bottom of why. And I think maybe he is too, it seems.
Yeah. I think that, I think that was part of the conversation today. I think certainly the whiteout situation looked really good at the beginning of the season. I think everybody was happy. And then I just don't know that things have gelled as the season's gone on. I don't know if that's Rhule. I don't know if that's the receivers or what. But one thing I do know is that when you put a true freshman out there, you have to expect some of those true freshman things to happen. And Nebraska chose that. They chose it. They knew that when they signed Rhule, they weren't going to get a transfer. It was very, very unlikely they were going to get one. So they did it eyes wide open. And when you do that, you accept that your true freshman quarterback is going to make freshman mistakes. So that's part of the reality that they embraced. Some of the mistakes that Rhule makes, he's not going to make in 3 years or 2 years. But I'll tell you what, some of the mistakes he makes wouldn't have been made by Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
And we need to be honest about that. And people don't like hearing that. They don't. Well, what are you saying? Are you saying he's not perfect? Yeah, I'm saying he's not perfect. So, but that's built into the cake, and they don't badmouth Dylan, I think.
No.
And one of the things that they've said, and Satterfield and Rhule have both said this, of we need to get Dylan away from, it's my fault, I did it, I played bad, all that stuff. And I think one of the reasons that they need to get him away from it isn't because they're trying to make him less humble, Connor. I think they're trying to get him to create some accountability with his teammates. And part of how you do that is getting on them when they don't do the things that need to be done.
Yeah, get after him a little bit. Yeah.
I think Dylan's such a nice guy, nice kid. That's just not how he was raised. And I think he's still learning how to assume that responsibility in the room. And again, there's a reason why true freshman quarterbacks actually play very rarely in college. And Nebraska's been conditioned to think they're all like Tommy Frazier, and they're really not. Tommy was an alpha, a super alpha, even for a college freshman, and to the point where, he actually put off some of his teammates a little bit because he was such a strong leader. That's not who Dylan is. And so, I think people are kind of expecting, well, Tommy was great. Yeah, it's fine, but that was a different era and it was a different guy. And so I think Nebraska just needs to continue growing in its overall identity of offense based on the guy that's taking the snaps.
Would you like to see them maybe talk about, oftentimes when they talk about the offense, it's okay, here's Dylan and then here's the rest of it, right? I don't know. Maybe sometimes I think maybe it should just be all under one umbrella, because I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of kid gloves, like you said, with how they talk about him. But the offense is what the offense is at this point, and I don't think Dylan is like Dylan is culpable as well. He's done some pretty rough things over the last couple of games.
I think he has. I mean, he's made some mistakes. I think my thought process is you have to expect some of those things based on the decisions that you make. And, it's not you're seeing that with some of the rookie quarterbacks. You're honestly not seeing it with Jaden Daniels. He's been great. But, some other rookies aren't as good, and it takes them more time. And what franchise has had the best quarterback development program over the last 30 years? The Green Bay Packers. And what they've been able to do is they have sat their first-round picks for multiple years in the NFL. And then when they're ready to move on from Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, all of a sudden, Jordan Love is throwing darts all over the place and, winning a game and all this other stuff. Well, Jordan Love didn't have to play for 2 years. And so there's a methodology here. And I think Nebraska's trying to they're doing it quicker. They're probably only going to have him for 3 years. This is the exact same, it's a fascinating conversation. And it's an intriguing dilemma, Indiana probably could have gone with Taven Jackson to start this season, but I don't think they'd be 7-0 if they had. They go with a fifth-year senior. I think that's part of why they're pretty successful. Nebraska chose not to go that route. Or more to the point, they chose to not, tell Dylan, hey, you're going to redshirt. We're not doing that the way that you would expect it to. So that's just the way the thing is now. I think Dylan's got a lot of potential and can do a lot of good things this year. They do need to help him more.
Yeah, they do.
He can't go out there and block for those receivers. He can't. That's not his job. So, so there's a lot of pieces, moving parts there, but we'll see how it goes.
What happened to the defense on Saturday? And how out of the blue was that for that to happen to this defense that had, pretty routinely done a pretty good job of keeping some things in front of them, and they got gashed. I mean, it was all across the board, Sam, on defense on Saturday.
Yeah, very out of the blue. But I thought Rhule had some really clear-eyed explanations for all that happened. And if you listen to his explanations for the defense, there's just more clarity there, and there's not a lot of kid gloves. I think he's like, our corners struggled.
Yep,
we couldn't stop the run. Our defensive linemen, got fooled on some of the RPOs and ripped up the field and let the Indiana linemen climb to our linebackers. So then you're asking safeties to make tackles, and that's all fine. The safeties did play well. There are ways to take better angles than some of them did, but it doesn't matter. I think he's real clear-eyed about what they can and can't do on that side of the ball. And this week they're going to have to make choices. So the choices that they get to make this week are, okay, are we going to try to stress their run game and really come up on them and trust our corners to cover, those two Ohio State receivers, or are they going to play off those guys and make Ohio State go 12 plays? I really don't know. I'd probably lean toward the latter half and try to pick off Will Howard in negative territory in the red zone, but they'll do what they do. I would not personally want Jeremiah Smith to beat me, but maybe that's what they want to do. Maybe they want to force a situation where he's the guy that's beating them, and they're going to try to have Tommy Hill take him out. I don't, Tommy, if you're a first round pick, why don't you go after Jeremiah Smith and take him out of the game? It's a reasonable statement. So maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe, and when he says, if you're an NFL player and they're an NFL player, I think he's talking to some degree about his corners. You guys want to play in the NFL, then go out and make NFL coverage plays against these two receivers that everybody knows are going to the NFL. Go and do it. And we'll see if they're up to it. It's a daunting challenge. You almost, you almost wish this game was later in the year, because this is a hard one to have to play after Indiana. It's just a tough team to play, and tough situation.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Appreciate it as always. We'll let you go. Enjoy your week, my friend.
Take care. You too.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Now, some of that if you're an NFL player, then go guard them, stuff like that. Like some of it is the position that you're put in. But remember, Rhule has been a big like artificially inject confidence into the team guy. I always go back to when he first got here about the offensive line, that everyone was like, what the hell is going to happen here? And it was coached by a guy everyone was like, why is he still here? And he was like, nope, they're good. They got NFL players. So there's NFL players and there's what Ohio State has.
That's a different level of NFL player.
Maybe Nebraska has some NFL players. They have first rounders.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he's trying to do is he's trying to inject them with a little bit of confidence and say, this is what you're going to see. This is the NFL. This is how you have to play. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see which route he takes on Saturday. The how to lose question might pop up again, Josh. Might just pop up again.
Yeah, they may rephrase it.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, sure seems that way.
All right, we're back after this. Quick reminder that the zone deal this week is to Stories Coffee Company. Stories Coffee serves premium coffee roasted on site, also serving tea, smoothies, breakfast, lunch. Great breakfast there. I've had their breakfast burrito many times.
Oh.
7 local craft beers on tap and delicious wines. This week's deal is 5 $10 vouchers, which is, of course, a $50 value for just $25. On sale this Friday, October 25th at 9 o'clock on our website, 1620thezone.com. Looks like a lovely day out at, sorry. Shut my computer off. Out of UNO, we get the state softball championship. This is Class C.
At the Tal.
Whatever the softball field is. Connie. Bishop Newman leads DC West 2-0. Looks lovely out there, though. Packed house.
Oh, it's a great day. It's a great day for softball.
It's a great day for softball. Incredible day for softball.
Not too hot, not too cool.
In the Metro. Let's head back to the phones, where I'm sure it's a great weather day, as it usually is in Myrtle Beach. Hey, Greg, what's up?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon to you, my friend.
My God, it's a perfect bikini day, guys. You should be here.
Yeah, same here. It's 77. It feels like we should be wearing bikinis.
Yeah, and I got so pissed off by that presser, I had to jump out of the hammock and come in and call you guys.
I figured that probably set you off. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, it was a great weekend. Hap, as a great Husker supporter, it's always great to go to the anus of America, Norman, Oklahoma, where the Cox completely laid it all over them. They're firing people today. That damn Boomer Schooner. The Boomer Schooner stayed parked all day, and we heard that damn fight song straight out of the pit of hell about twice. They had nothing. The Cox put 2 defensive touchdowns on them in the first quarter, and Venables had nothing.
Yeah. It was a nice day for South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Yes.
Yeah, and then had a great opportunity to completely ruin it by watching that damn fiasco. My father was on staff at both Nebraska and Indiana, and I was shocked because help me with this, guys. Our NFL guru just got his ass out-coached, out-adjusted, and completely throttled by first-year Sunbelt Signetti. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like. And aren't we glad that our NFL guru had an off week to prepare? Okay, so let's look at this. All right, first of all, can you tell me look at Signetti. Can you tell me where Elon is?
Elon's in North Carolina, right?
I don't follow the head of Tesla.
Right. Exactly. And what's the city? Elon, North Carolina.
Elon, North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Student enrollment, 7,000 commuter college.
Nice.
Where's James Madison?
James Madison is also in North Carolina, or is in South Carolina?
No. James Madison is in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And the only thing that town's known for is the home of Ralph Sampson.
Okay.
So this guy comes in and completely clowns our NFL guy. So watching that tape, how would you rate our game prep, our in-game adjustments, and our tackling, and explain how we just lost to the second highest ranked football team in Indiana, which is a basketball state, by 49. That's 7 damn touchdowns. And what nobody's saying is Curtis Rourke, their quarterback, never took a snap in the second half. He had 0 snaps in the second half. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So and it is true that Indiana still has not beaten anybody. So what I want to know is, does it alarm anybody out there that we had absolutely no answers to anything they did in any of the 3 phases?
I think, Greg, that it has been very alarming.
I'm alarmed.
Yes.
Yeah, and what happened? We told you from the beginning the truth about middle school Rhule. I gave him the nickname based on verified facts about he and Satterfield from day one. But everybody out there stubborn, and you guys, not you guys personally, but everybody out there knows everything about football, and nobody listens to anybody. You know about football everywhere. So you don't want to listen to anyone outside the brainwashed Nebraska bubble. It doesn't matter that we got a box at Clemson, we got a box at South Carolina, and we got a box at the Panthers game. So I've watched this clown. I've watched this clown coach his last 5 years. That's 58 games. The guy's 21-37. So when we told you guys, Nebraska supporters, we wanted to go from worst to first. We meant the standings. We didn't mean that we wanted to hire the worst coach in the NFL who got fired first and spare us spare us all of this crap about, well, Matt Rhule is incredible in year 2. No, he wasn't. We saw him. His first year at Carolina, he was 5-11. He followed that up with a 5-12 and then a 1-4 before they finally canned his ass. Okay, so the bottom line is you paid a Ferrari price for a Ford, and now it's leaking oil and breaking down just like we told you that it was going to. And the worst part, I don't know, when you watch him coach, it's the same thing it was at Carolina. Let's waste another timeout to start the fourth quarter and then get a false start. Every coach's challenge that Rhule makes is a bigger waste than the one before. Hartzog sucks at corner and gets exposed every time, and that's only going to get worse in Columbus. We totally collapsed and went 0 for November last year, and we're regressing like hell this year. And we can't handle any success. As Josh correctly said, we can't run the ball, period. Period. Now, we told you early before the year, because I saw the kid all throughout high school, Rhule is your problem, and Raiola is the answer. But what Illinois and that fiasco at Indiana proved yesterday is that Dillon is not good enough to overcome Rhule's weaknesses in game, and that failure is multiplied tenfold by the fact that Satterfield sucks. So his crap coaching and play calling, just like what we told you we saw at South Carolina, is making a freshman quarterback be a magician working with paper rabbit. And you're dumber than a damn Kamala Harris voter if you think you're going to win anything significant with Matt Rhule.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you as always. Sounds like it's going real good. Hey, 5:45 just about until the first Satterfield mention. So that was that was the over.
Look,
that was the over.
The YouTube chat today has been a dumpster fire of negativity. Let me tell you, unanimous approval of Greg and Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
They love that man.
I was going to say, so I think the main tenor of his call was like, are you worried yet? And everyone in the YouTube chat's like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I am. Thank you. Okay. So a lot of different ways we could go off that. I'd like to talk about this real quick. Signetti, Mr. Siggs.
Yeah.
By the way, it was a full-on Siggs inside situation on Saturday. Yeah.
Quick.
Big Siggs inside. I appreciate Mr. Signetti. He kind of toned it down over the weekend. He really did.
Yeah.
He, and, assumingly, that'll be the way it goes going forward. And he basically laid it out as, I felt like we needed to really stir some things up at first. He played a role, right? They kept asking him about when he got on the mic at the basketball game the day he was hired, and he goes, Purdue sucks, and Michigan sucks, and Ohio State sucks, and it's Indiana, blah, that whole thing. They kept asking him about that over the weekend, and they played it on the pregame show, and for God's sakes, it was everywhere. And on the postgame show, it was like, hey, listen, man, I had a bad night. I was sick of everybody coming up to me and talking to me about how Indiana sucks at football. I was annoyed by it. I was sick of it. And so his reaction was, we're going to change that narrative. And basically that was the culmination of that.
He was fighting for Indiana.
He totally toned it down. He was like, nope, we're not. Now he's got College Game Day coming to town this weekend when they play Washington.
He doesn't have a quarterback.
He doesn't have
his starting quarterback.
Okay. He toned it way down. He toned it way down this weekend, and for that, I guess I respect that. I'll go White Castle incident on him. I respect that. Because he could have gone. He could have said, yeah, well, we kicked their ass, got out of there. Just like they did to UCLA when they, he had the line about, oh, well, we went out west. We had a nice meal and had a good night at the hotel, woke up, kicked their ass, came back. That whole thing. He didn't do that. He didn't do that this weekend. But man, dude, they like him out there.
That is,
I can imagine
their
why.
guy. Yeah. And I totally get it.
I can imagine why. We got a comment from Twitter earlier.
Hi, Twitter.
Sports Comedy Rap, not Twitter itself. Although there was an Elon mention in there. Greg. Oh, no. That wasn't the one. It was something about denigrating Indiana. Oh, yeah. Okay. Indiana still hasn't beaten anyone. When you scored 40 points in 6 straight games and are murdering teams for the most part, you are an inarguably good team, and IU this year is a very good team. It's okay to clown Nebraska, but no reason to denigrate IU. They're a legit top 10 to 20 team this year.
We'll just put that on the screen, and we'll try and still stay in the frame here.
It's a big comment. Big comment. I mean, hell, they're probably going to make the playoff. Like I said, they're probably going to make the playoff.
The schedule is there for them. I need to know how long Curtis with a K is going to be out.
I don't know. It kind of seems like a while.
Yeah.
I'm not really concerned.
You do not sound concerned at all.
They're good. I thought they were good last week.
Yeah.
I think, like I said at the very beginning of the show, I think I was more wrong on Nebraska than I was about Indiana, but I thought they were good. I'm not trying to walk that back at all. I thought they were good, and they are good.
I was mistaken.
I thought Nebraska was better, and they suck, it turns out. Under middle school rule.
Look.
Just right now. Anyway.
That's not bad. It's not a bad nickname.
No, it's pretty good. He should coin that. All right, we'll be back. Poll questions. Tell you what to watch on the other side on 1620 The Zone. Hey, we never got to this, Josh, but congrats to the Libs for winning a WNBA championship.
Another feather in the cap for
the
New York,
Libs.
for the Libs and New York sports.
Yep.
They're having a moment.
Wow. Can you believe New York is back?
Except the Mets and the Jets. Those guys still suck.
Yeah. But the Mets got all the way to the NLCS, Josh. People were lauding them for that.
Yeah. I mean,
they deserve to be lauded.
That's definitely something.
Rutgers is back. No.
Okay.
No.
No.
To the polls at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We started off with this one today. Does your soul feel sucked?
Absolutely. The last 4 hours has not helped.
82% agree. Is a Yahoo Fantasy Basketball League like Hotel California? Yes.
So I'm going to trust you on this one.
56% say yes. More likely scenario, Nebraska scores 2 points on Saturday or 3 points on Saturday. Exactly 2 or exactly 3 points.
Yeah, I don't know if I worded the question the best, but I'm going to go 2.
3 is the leader, 62% of the vote. And finally, do they need some couch time? Yeah. You got mental problems, man.
Man.
89% say yes. You need some couch time. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching a Monday Night Football doubleheader.
No, we're not. I hate the doubleheaders.
Well, you're really going to hate this one because you're going to need multiple devices to watch it. Ravens Buccaneers 7:15 on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN2. Your extra long Manning cast includes Bill Belichick, Joe Flacco, Ed Reed, and Scott Hansen.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
They're going to ask him if he peed in a bag this weekend.
I believe I read late last week that their plan with Scott Hansen is to have him not illegally, but disseminate what's happening on the other game that is not on TV.
Oh, that's funny.
Chargers Cardinals 8:00 on ESPN Plus, exclusively on ESPN Plus.
That's right.
It'll be on 1180 if you do not have ESPN Plus.
Oh, so it's not that exclusive.
Or are worried about how many devices you can load up on your ESPN Plus. We'll have it for you. Ravens Bucks on 1620, of course. State softball going on at Omaha University, Class C, DC West, and Bishop Neumann going on right now on Nebraska Public Media. It's 2-0. Bishop Neumann in the 5th.
It's the battle of basically West Omaha, like way West Omaha.
Way west, way out there.
Wahoo and DC West.
Class B at 3:30. That's Hastings versus, I believe it's pronounced Beatrice.
Yep.
I'm going to go Beatrice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's right.
Good.
The orange.
And then Class A at 6:30. All of these on Nebraska Public Media. Millard North versus Gretna.
Oh,
also
nice.
west, but also south.
Millard North and Gretna.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. You can't really put those two in the same.
Right. I tried. It didn't work. One game in the NHL today. It is the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs, 6:30 on NHL Network. We all know where that is located.
Love that channel.
New sitcom on CBS tonight, Connor. 7:30 start for Papa's House. Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. play father and son in this comedy about a legendary talk radio personality and his aspiring director son.
Okay. Interesting.
And finally, and this is not a joke when I say this, tonight at 7:00 on Paramount is Tommy Boy.
Hell yeah. We're back.
Third time in the last 5 weekdays.
Yeah, I might have to check it out.
That's right. It's always there for you.
I get a text from Josh.
Like a nice warm blanket.
Josh, thanks.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. I don't feel any better, but
I feel a little worse, actually.
Yeah, we'll move on. Tomorrow is another day where we could feel better or worse. Further and further into the pit of despair, or we climb our way out. Untether yourself, as I say. All right, that's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.